are listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Well, hello there, you little juicy representations of download statistics, and welcome to episode 96 of the Gamecasters, the show that is the other option to seeking a physician for reducing an erection lasting longer than 4 hours after taking Viagra. If board game content creation was represented in TV shows, everyone other than us would all collectively be the Wiggles, and we are like South Park meets Jerry Springer meets Game of Thrones meets It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We're like that scene of The Wire that is literally just the word fuck over and over again. You remember that one?
Yeah.
So those are your choices, and there's no middle ground. You fucking fucks. In today's episode, we're going to talk all about dicks. Hairy ones, long ones, short ones, sporting goods, mean people, private investigators, our friend's name Richard, who hilariously go by... Wait, crap. I read that wrong. I mean, we're going to be talking about Gencon 2022. Hairy ones, long ones, short ones, sporting goods, mean people. But seriously, the Gamecasters just got back from the best 4 days in gaming, and boy, do we have lots of hilarious stories about Natalie to share with you all. From Natalie running around like a chicken with her head cut off, frantically searching for her badge, yelling at me about it, where I've hidden it, all the while the entire time it's dangling like Flavor Flav's giant clock around her neck.
Spoiler.
To her throwing her hands up in the air while we're walking in the convention center saying, fuck, I've lost them. I've lost Jeff and Dave. They're gone. They're literally nowhere to be found. Where could they be? While in actuality, they're the first two people directly in front of her, possibly 2 feet away at most, hearing everything she's saying about how they're just gone. What the fuck? More on that later. Yes, we had a fantastic time as usual during Gen Con. We bought too much stuff, had too little sex, randomly bumped into the measles among the crowd of 60,000, walked until our feet filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau, ran into the measles, ate island noodles every single day, met and talked with a bunch of people, handed out pins, crazily found the measles again, played games, contracted and then saw the measles, and partook in a bunch of really fun activities, none of them sexual. We went to a place to get calzones and discovered that all drink options were quite different than what they were used to, and we had to completely guess what the flavors were. More on this later. So before we dive into everything in more detail, why don't we talk about a few games we bought and played there? Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't it be cool?
So cool.
Jeff, talk to us about the first game.
Okay, let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
We'll jump right in. Banter
jump in.
out the window.
Fuck you, banter.
These motherfuckers who listen to our show and fast forward the first 30 minutes.
They're going to miss
banter.
it.
You're missing
all
now
the games.
So let's talk about some games.
Fuck you.
Okay, first game. Designed by Prospero Hall.
Hit me.
Published by Funko Games.
Oh, he's hitting me.
Who makes those big head things.
The big head ones.
You know?
It hurts. Ah.
I know. That's where they've just gotten so much money off of.
Oh,
They
Yeah, the
use
big head toys.
Funko big head
Funko
toys
Pop.
to
Funko
now
Pop.
open up a branch of their company to design board games.
Funko Pop.
And they're doing well.
Oh, really well.
yeah.
Funko's doing very well.
Yeah.
Funko not only had a booth in the hall, they also had a room outside of the hall. They had 2 different areas you could buy.
They got a lot of money.
They're killing it.
Right, they got
Yeah.
tons of money. They got all that Funko Pop money.
Funko Pop.
Those
The
things
board
are
games is
everywhere.
just like their side chick,
Yeah, it is.
right?
All right. This game, if you listen to the last episode, was the number 1 game on my Gen Con list from episode 95.
Was it really? I know.
Number 1.
I remember.
Weren't you there?
I listened to you.
You were there. This game is called Rear Window.
Boom.
Okay. Little background.
Okay.
Alfred Hitchcock made a movie called Rear Window.
Oh.
This is based on this.
Okay.
The main character is named L.B. Jeffries, who is one of the characters that we kind of could be the role of in the
Okay.
game.
Yeah.
LB.
He is in a wheelchair. He is in his apartment building, and he basically his life now is just staring out the window and spying on his neighbors.
Okay.
So he's looking at so imagine you're looking at an apartment building and there's all these windows and people's curtains are open or closed and you're just spying on them.
Trying to see somebody naked.
Why not? Yep, just naked. He's
That's
got
all I ever
binoculars.
cared
He's
about.
legitimately just staring at binoculars and he's looking at
Man
people.
after my own heart.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
just looking for people banging
Trying
or
to find
naked
them.
women.
Naked people.
Right? Or
okay.
men. Just naked
Sure. Whatever
people.
you're into.
Yes. So he's doing that, and he, in this movie,
Okay.
is convinced that this guy killed his girlfriend. Not his own girlfriend, but the guy's girlfriend, right? So
like he thinks he saw somebody kill their
someone,
girlfriend.
yes, he thinks somebody killed their own girlfriend.
God, how does he know it's not
Murder,
his wife?
right?
He knows.
I don't know.
He's a peeping Tom.
It's like
he knows everything.
I think the person in the movie is like a supermodel, and he believes that she was murdered by the guy in the apartment, and he's now trying to, as he's sitting there looking through his binoculars, figure all this stuff out. So that movie is like from 1950 something, but
Wow, is it that old?
yeah. So this is based on this essentially, and I've only seen this movie once, and it was like a really long time ago when I was like in high
you saw
school,
it.
and I
I never
thought,
even heard of this
yeah,
movie.
I was in high school, and my friend Chad made me watch like older movies because he was like a movie person.
How's Chad doing?
Okay. I'm fine, I think.
I miss that guy.
Yeah, he's got a couple kids. He's living in New York. Just like his wife is like this
thing.
super smart lawyer, just like crushing things.
That's
He
right.
went to law school, so now he's a super smart lawyer.
Damn it.
And I feel inadequate when I'm around him.
God damn. We have a board game podcast
Damn
where
it.
we can say fuck.
Okay, well, in his face.
Does he have that?
Yeah, what do you think about that, Chad? Fuck you.
We harmonize.
Yeah, fake Chad.
you.
Fuck you.
Fake Chad.
So
What's up, Chad?
hey Chad, I miss you, buddy. So one person in this game, again, this is Rear Window, takes the role of the director, okay, who is essentially playing clue cards to this window board over the course of 4 days. The clue cards are, the goal is to get the other people who are not the director to guess who lives in each apartment and what their hobby is.
Okay.
That's the game. Okay. This process is very similar to other like picture interpretation games, Mysterium, Detective Club, Dixit, that kind of stuff. They're not as fantastical as Mysterium.
Great adjective.
Thank you. We
We need to start using that in Mad Libs.
Yeah, Mad Libs. That's a good one.
Fantastical.
Okay.
Because because if you remember, if you've seen the Dixit cards and the Mysterium cards, they're kind of crazy.
Yes.
These are real scenarios that you would see in
like
the
a
window
home.
of someone,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, one of the first cards that Ryan played as the director in our game was this table with a shadow in the background of someone looks like they're kind of dancing or falling, and there was a vase that was broken on the ground, and there was maybe a cat laying on the ground, something like that. There's a bunch of different stuff,
Yep.
but it's not like set in this space world or something crazy.
No.
It's very
Yes.
realistic, but you have to interpret the stuff on the cards like the Mysterium, Detective Club, Dixit, like those type of games. The difference that makes this game stand out is that there is some percentage, like a quarter of the time, a third of the time, where this game is not cooperative, where there is a murderer in the building.
Moiderer. Sorry.
The murderer.
Okay. From the 50s.
He threw like a
And some,
lip
yeah, there's a little bit, yeah. And the director is working against you, and you don't know that, which is very cool. So it's almost like a secret saboteur, but only one person knows. The director is the only person that knows if the game is cooperative and he's trying to help you, or the game is competitive and he's trying to beat you. He or she is trying to fuck you.
Yeah.
Right?
Fantastically.
So I'm just going to jump into what I think.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
We played at the JW Marriott.
Right?
Yeah.
I really liked this one.
Okay.
It was so fun. So our scenario was Ryan was the director because we started out and I was like, Ryan, do you want to be the one? And he was like, yes.
I did.
So boom, he was the one. He was, well, we thought at the beginning he was on our team. Myself, Natalie, Amanda, and Wally were the other side. Okay?
Yeah.
So Ryan's playing these cards on day one, and we think that this woman lives in this apartment, this couple lives here, they like art, and these people are très chic, and all these people are trying to figure this stuff out. And the first night we get like 4 or 5 right, and we're like, okay, we're doing good. Out of 8.
If you
right?
get all 8, you win.
Yep. So in each apartment, you got to figure out who's there and what their hobby is. So there's 4 apartments. The next night, we get like 5 or 6. I'm like, okay, we're on the right path.
I think we got 4, then 5,
Maybe 4,
then
then
6.
5, and then 6, and we're creeping up there. And then in night 3, we start to talk about, we're like, Ryan, I think Ryan's
What if?
fucking with us.
Yeah.
What if we're wrong? What if there is a murder in one of these 2 things? We were pretty confident we had 2 of the rooms like perfect, and the other 2 we were in question. So we started to doubt Ryan and his shadiness and his scheming. So then we talked about maybe there's a murderer. And what's awesome about this game is that Ryan just can't, as the director, can't throw off the entire game. Because in order for Ryan to win as the director, we need to get a certain amount of those right and the murderer wrong. And as the other side, we need to get the murderer right and a certain amount of the other rooms correct also. So he has to play this fine line of, I'm helping you to a certain extent, but I'm trying to hide this one area.
Right. Like, I don't want you to get all of them, but you need to get most
But you need to get most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as that discussion happened, as soon as there was a little seed of doubt in our head of whether or not Ryan was on our side, the game became, in my opinion, like great. It was so awesome to have that discussion. And I think that it helped that we were all into it because Ryan can't say anything. So he's just sitting there and he's like looking at his hand. Oh, this is a tough card to play. Waka, waka, waka. And we're like, oh no. Like, maybe this is it. Like,
That
why
wasn't
would
a
he
lie
keep
every
playing
time.
this?
There was
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
know.
times where I was like, shit.
Yeah, because it is hard to play these cards because Ryan can play some cards face down, which at the beginning we were kind of like, why would he do that? But then maybe we started to figure out why he would. And I feel like as soon as that opened up, it was like, yes, this is how the game should be played in my head. Because now, for the rest of the time I play this game, every other time after that, I'm going to have that doubt.
Yeah.
That you might be working against me, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a 75% chance that we're working together. Most games are going to be working together. But I was really kind of glad that this first one had the murderer in there.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this is now fun. It was fun to do that.
Yeah.
We were so close. Ryan ended up winning because we got the right number right that he needed.
Yep.
But we missed the room that the murder was in.
You were
Yeah.
right that there was a murderer.
Yeah, we
You just
picked a
guessed the
murderer. We
wrong
just put in the
person.
wrong
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
And, what was also cool is we weren't so far away from winning. Like, if we switch 2 tiles, we win. Or we
Right.
tie or something. We both kind of have it. But it was just, I had so much fun playing it. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I think it'll, for the foreseeable future, replace those other games. Like Mysterium, I don't really want to play. I haven't played Mysterium in a while anyway. But if I want to play, card interpretation game, this will be the one I go to from here on out till the next one. All right, what
Till
did
the
you
next
guys
one.
think?
Beautiful. Can we go clockwise?
You don't have to say that every time.
Well, I'm just.
Yeah,
I don't want you to think that I'm.
Someone is out there is listening for the first time.
Just
Yeah, right. They don't
assume
know.
They need to
we
know what
always
order.
go
They don't know. They think that
clockwise.
I'm just steamrolling
They don't know
this poor
what-
innocent woman
where we're
on the
sitting.
show.
They
the
need to know
chairs.
where we're sitting. Okay. Because our whole thing is that we want our listeners to feel like they're sitting at the table with us.
Right.
And if they were, they'd
You
be
are
sitting
the
across
fourth
from me.
person. Yes. Natalie and I are at the butt and the head of the table. I'll let you decide which.
Yep.
Jeff is on one side, and there is the other side empty.
It's you.
It's like we are. You know what it's
leave an
like?
empty chair
It's
there.
like there's a camera. Like we're a television show.
Yep.
You ever notice some TV shows? They don't ever sit around the table. They
Yeah.
always sit.
It's
to
always
one
like
side
The Last
so you can see. Right. It's like The Last Supper. So that's like what it is. The camera is facing Jeff. If we were watching a TV show, Jeff is facing the camera. Natalie and
Yep.
I are to the. Okay. Anyway.
That's it. That's where you are,
Okay, so
listeners.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Mysterium. And part of the reason why was the interpretive clues that you had to give to each player as the ghost, which is the Alfred Hitchcock player in this game, could really create some bad feelings as people would be like, why the hell did you give me this card? What the fuck? Doesn't help me at all. Or as the person receiving the card, you could feel really stupid if the ghost gave you this perfect card and you just don't see it. And then everyone's frustrated. What I like a lot about Rear Window is the simple inclusion of this possible traitor mechanism that throws all of that out the rear window. See what it is?
Nice.
Also, you're not just giving a specific card to a specific person. You're putting cards out onto a shared board, trying to get the other people to guess why. And so they can't really get super upset with you as you also might be working against them. This game, is, as Jeff said, is kind of like a Mysterium or Detective Club kind of thing. Dixit. However, I liken it more to like a Mind Management or even Letters from Whitechapel. It had that feeling more for me than it did and I think it might be because of that lack of fantastical artwork on the card. It felt more like you were trying to solve the clue of whether I was good or bad and how I was messing with you, rather than just interpreting the artwork on the cards.
Yeah,
for me on my side.
Yeah,
of
that
it.
makes sense.
It kind of fixed everything I didn't love about Mysterium with those couple of things. All the feeling really stupid parts are gone, I feel like. I really enjoyed playing as the Alfred Hitchcock player. It's hard as you only have a few cards in your hand with which to either help or hinder the other players. And if you are the traitor, you can't just constantly fuck with them, as Jeff said. You have to help them just enough without seeming like you're not, but enough to prevent them from getting all the information. And it created this really, really cool and juicy decision space for me, and questions about like which information I shared and which I withheld or tried to deceive. In the play that Jeff talked about, I decided that there was one specific piece of information that I was going to try and lead them to something related to that. So what I did is I put a card in each phase. There's 4 phases, Jeff said, and it had a picture frame in it, if you guys remember this.
Yeah.
And I purposefully put a picture frame in each of these 4 cards, hoping that you would pick something like the art
photographer.
collector or the
Yeah.
photographer. Right, when really that was the murderer. Mm-hmm. And so I was really trying to hit that one hard.
worked.
And it was fun. It was really fun for me to do that. And watching as you guys would go back and forth on whether or not I was working with you or against you. That was my favorite part, like Jeff talked about. I loved, as the Alfred Hitchcock player, like watching that unfold, because the best thing about that as the one, it can be. You could get bored. I could see if the other players are just talking a lot. If you look at it that way, but the way I choose to look at it, it makes me have fun because they're saying stuff, and everything that they're saying is learning.
Yeah,
for
you're
me.
getting information.
I'm
That's
like,
how you should
okay,
play
what
it.
are they? There's talking a lot about this specific thing, and they're like, okay, I think he did this, and I'm like, okay, well now they think I did that, so now I'm going to do that again.
Yeah,
or they're looking away
like,
from
I'm gonna
this
validate
one, or
that.
they think this might be the art collector. I'm going to play another card that shows that is the art collector, and they're going to be like, fuck yeah, I got it right, and that was so much fun. I think I would also really enjoy playing the other side, and I'll stop for a second. Look, you want to say
that's
something.
okay. Yeah, I was going to say that if you're listening to this and you're like, well, why would I ever talk if the other person's just listening the whole time? The game does give you like a silent board that if we figured out you were like there was a murder in like day 2 and we're like we don't trust Ryan anymore, there's a board that we can like point to and talk like and almost like
so I don't hear.
So you don't hear what we're saying.
like a hidden board.
If you're listening to this and you're like, well, we're not gonna talk.
I'm not gonna
this
share.
person's gonna listen.
Right.
Well, there's a way to kind of fix that a little bit. If you don't
at the
want
beginning
to.
we decided to just like openly talk, not knowing how the
because
game
you
would
almost have
go.
to trust it at the beginning.
But I also didn't think that because you did that like, oh, that was
have some
now it's too
advantage.
easy for me. It was just like my way of kind of illustrating that there are things to always do, even when it feels like you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
You guys are all 4 of you, and Amanda and Wally, are all working together, talking, and like Wally's like, what would Ryan do?
Yeah.
And like Amanda's like, well, I think this is this, and Natalie's like, me too, and Jeff's like, well, if this is this, then this cannot be that. Stuff like that would happen, and that would I was like, oh, he's right. So now they're onto that. And that helped me with how to proceed, and I liked that. I really do think I'd like playing the other side as that deductive aspect would come out, which again reminds me a lot of Mind Management, Letters from Whitechapel, Fury of Dracula, those kinds of games. Listening to them work out things that I had not intended created this fear and stress for me, but also likely really felt cool for them, and I think I'd really enjoy experiencing that and working together with the other players to figure that out. So things I didn't like, there was not a ton about this game that I didn't enjoy. Sometimes no matter what you do, the cards in your hand just are not going to help the players if you're trying to. And they can take that as an indication that you're trying to screw them over, when really that's just the best crap of the crap in your hand.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always feel super great, I guess. It didn't really... That happened to me a little bit. As the Alfred Hitchcock player, you want to be using your brain to creatively help or hinder the other players. And lots of times... you don't really have the right exact cards in your hand to be able to pull that off, but you have to deal with that. It's just a part of the game that you have to deal with. And so I didn't really mind that a ton. I could see how I guess that could create some feelings where you might not enjoy that. But personally, I kind of liked, it's like Natalie talks about in a lot of games where she likes the idea of, here's the hand I'm dealt. How do I do the best thing that I can do with this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not the perfect hand that I wanted, but this is what I've been dealt. And so how do I make lemonade out of lemons? And so I kind of chose to look at it that way. Like, I got a bunch of shit in my hand. Yeah. How do I find this interestingly creative way to
I can
use
put this
it
one
right?
face down, because this is like the worst
If
of
I
the
just
worst.
put this face down, that'll tell them maybe that nothing changed in the last one. And you guys interpreted that right. There was things that I tried to help you with, and you nailed it. And that felt really good for me.
Yeah.
Like going, that's what I intended. They're interpreting it the way I intended it, and I liked that. Again, if you're prone to not enjoying a lengthy discussion about what's going on, this game can definitely make that happen. Much like, again, Letters from Whitechapel or Mind Management. I personally, like I said, love listening to all the talking going on, but I could also understand how people could get annoyed or tired of just sitting there waiting while the other players talk and talk and talk and talk. And if this is you, maybe don't play this one, as I feel like the talking part is necessary for both sides to figure out. Even though the Alfred Hitchcock player can't talk, I think listening to the other players talking is half the fun for you.
Sure. And
I think that it's necessary. So if you don't like games like that, which I understand, maybe this is one that you might think twice about playing. Overall, I really enjoyed this game. If you're looking for another group one versus all deduction game, you like games like Letters from Whitechapel, you like games like Mind Management, or on the flip side, you like games like Mysterium, you like games like Dixit, I think this kind of bridges the gap between those two genres. I don't know what you call them, but this kind of bridges the gap between those two, and it was a big hit for me, I thought.
Yeah, and there's one with one more thing I wanted to add. I think the player count on this is weird. It's like 3 to 5, 3 to 6 maybe, or something on the box.
Yeah,
it can be played with 2. It can also be played with 6 or 7. Right?
Yeah.
It's same thing if you've ever played Letters from Whitechapel. That always says, oh, you're controlling each police officer or everyone on their side. You can play this as a bigger group,
Right.
if you want. So don't let the player count turn you off from playing. I would be happy to play this like heads up, like in mind management. Like, yeah, you don't have anybody to bounce the answers off of.
No, it's really fun.
But it can be fun to just
players,
try to play each other.
Yeah, it's just me versus you. How do we do this?
I'm assuming they say 5 because there's the 1, and then against 4 because there's like these 4 different like power cards you can use throughout the game. But like it's almost like they're saying like you said, assign those to one of the 4 people. Well, we didn't do that. We just had them in the middle and collectively decided when
so
to
you
use
could
them.
easily
So like
do
you could have
more.
had a couple more people playing.
This was a really, really cool game. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed that we didn't get it, but I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get it. After we played it, I was kind of like, I want to go pick this up. Mm-hmm. Like I like this a lot. This was a really good one. Again, for those deductive things.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think, Natalie?
Well, you know how I like deduction.
Yes, I do. That's why I kind of thought you were going to be like, we got to get this one.
I really liked it too. So as everyone knows, I like Mastermind. So this is reminding me exactly like of how Mastermind works. Not exactly, because there's like more to it, but in the way that you make a guess and then the person who knows the answer tells you how many things you got right, but not which ones they are.
Right.
And then you have to try to like take that information and deduce which one's right or wrong, or how to like decide on your next guess. So right away that like hooked me because I loved that kind of stuff. I was worried at first about like, I just kind of at the beginning felt like, how could we possibly know what side the director is on? Like he could either be giving us all like really good information, or he could be like telling us a bunch of lies. And I was like really confused at first. I'm like, how are we supposed to know? Mm-hmm. Like he would, and Ryan had said something like from your perspective, you were worried that you had these cards in your hand that weren't good.
Yeah.
And that we would interpret that as like you trying to screw us over.
Yeah.
But I actually felt the opposite. I was kind of like
you were trying to screw me over?
No, I was more like thought like he just doesn't have good cards. That's why he's playing this,
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of it I was.
And even the ones that you had like flipped over, I'm like, how are we supposed to know if it's just like I didn't have a good card, so I'm going to flip it over, or I don't want you to see this because it'll be too good of a card and give you too much information. You know what I mean? So at the beginning I was, not even the beginning, like halfway through the game, I was like, how are we supposed to know? I was like, we could just be like totally right or totally wrong,
Yeah.
But then
you could have,
as it went, but as it went on, I started, we kind of started figuring out like how you could interpret things.
You're right.
That's when the game opened.
Yeah, that's when it kind of, when you were like,
this is a different thing, but my brain felt the same way when we played Paint the Roses and we were playing like, okay, it can't be this, it can't be this, it can't be this, and then we went, oh, but he could have played that tile to the board.
Yeah.
And
now that eliminates a whole bunch of other things.
And you were like, oh.
And then the moment that we started to think like, why wouldn't Ryan play that card here? Mm-hmm. Why did he play this one face down if we already knew who lived there, but he didn't play that one face down on that? And that what I thought was just so fun.
Right, yeah. Yep. That was super cool. So, I mean, yeah, I thought it was so fun. I liked, it felt good how close we were the whole time. It felt like we were improving every time, so we weren't just like totally lost.
Yeah.
Like we could have had it. And like Ryan played it really well, where like those one cards he consistently, like they were probably the one he was tricking us on was probably the most consistent. Like
the one with the picture frame in the back.
The one with the picture frame. And so that made us so sure, because like there was another one, I think it was related to like plants or something, or maybe writing. I think it was writing.
Yeah, we thought writing.
Which we didn't figure. We eventually figured it out, but it wasn't like super obvious. Where I feel like this picture frame one was super obvious, so we're like, well, that one's got to be
right.
Well, what if we just played and never saw the picture frame?
And it turns out it wasn't.
What if we just didn't notice the picture frame?
So the first room was the orange people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the Oompa Loompas.
Yep.
And the hobby was their writers.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like that couple.
The very first card I played, that's what happened with that one. There was like a newspaper on the desk, And you guys didn't see that because
Right. Well,
there's
it
a
was kind
ton
of-
of other stuff
right,
going on in
yeah.
the picture. And so then I played another one, and it had a typewriter on it.
Yeah.
And again, you missed it. But, okay, you didn't miss it.
I think they
We
both
looked at
had
something else.
plants.
There was another
and I was
thing
like,
that was like
that
in
must
the
be
first card
it.
that you fixated on. Yeah, exactly. So in that way, it is like the Mysterium or Dixit thing where it's like you're like, oh dang,
Yeah, you're interpreting the
Like,
wrong part.
Yeah,
of
like
the card.
Yeah.
but you see it from both sides. Like on my side, I'm like, oh no, they're getting the plants. How do I make it so? And then I had another card, and I'm like, there's a fucking plant in this one too. But you
Yeah.
eventually got it.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you eventually.
Well,
did
I think
get
we
there.
guessed the plant, and then we're like, I don't think that's right, based on like
And if we get that one
stuff,
wrong,
the information we have.
Ryan loses too. Right?
Yep.
If we don't
Yeah.
have that one
Yep.
right.
right.
Right. So yeah, there is that's another thing I really like about it. Even if there's a traitor, the traitor can't just throw the game and just screw you up completely because then they
Right.
lose.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was figured out
Right.
in playtesting where they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, for
okay,
sure.
that's too easy to
Yeah,
discount.
okay.
Well, yeah,
do
because
whatever.
like
Yeah, you
that
could just put
would
anything
my
out
worry
there.
would be valid in that case because it's like, well, how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, how are you ever supposed to know?
So in this case, like you're gonna have to help us most of the way, just not all of the way.
Yeah, it's just hard to to know which one
Yeah.
is the wrong one.
Yeah, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Rear Window. Funko, Prospero Hall.
Funko, damn.
Damn, Funko.
Look at them go.
Way to go.
I think that's the best Funko game.
I would check
right
that
now.
out. Yeah, like they had a huge hit with Pan Am. Like
Oh, that was
fun?
that
Funko.
was a surprise hit, I think, from them.
Are you talking
That
about
got a lot of-
that episode of ours?
that like humongous?
That was
epi-
like
yeah.
the number one
One of
episode
the
of ours
most
for a
popular
long
very long
time.
time, and we're like, we don't have any hot games. to
Maybe
talk
the
about.
Funko people listened to that episode. There's a shitload of them.
and they're gonna be listening to this one.
Oh
too.
my god, we're waiting.
I'm gonna tag 'em.
another
Yeah.
record broken. One of the games I was most excited for at Gen Con this year was a game based on the man who died by cyanide poisoning, possibly from eating an apple he doused in cyanide, recreating the scene in Snow White where the Wicked Queen immersed an apple in poisonous brew. This is true. I'm talking, of course, about the code-breaking game Turing Machine, if that wasn't extremely obvious. In Turing Machine, the game based on the famous Alan Turing,
That's
who
how
is
Alan Turing
most
died.
famous for, being charged with gross indecency for being in a relationship with a man, which was a criminal offense in the UK back in 1952. When he was convicted of this crime, he was given a choice to either go to prison or be on probation. But one of the conditions of his probation was to undergo hormonal therapy designed to reduce his libido, known as chemical castration. He accepted that fate and took injections which feminized his body, rendering him impotent and caused him to form breasts. This is all true,
Are you serious?
according to Wikipedia. He also did some code breaking and was considered the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence, blah, blah, blah.
That's
So
not the
in Turing
interesting part of his
Machine-
life.
Man,
I
why do
know.
people
Wait,
suck
that's
so bad?
true?
Right. Yeah.
That's
That's all
awful.
true.
Dang.
Yeah. So yeah, he was found dead in his apartment from cyanide, or his house or whatever, from cyanide poisoning. There was an apple with one bite taken out of it, and somebody that knew him was like, he used to love to recreate scenes from stuff, and they thought that he was recreating the scene from Snow White.
This poor guy who is like
So he killed himself?
one of the saviors of like World War II, code cracking,
Yeah.
this like amazing genius, couldn't even fucking
persecuted.
be himself.
Persecuted
couldn't
for
and
love
he
who he
literally
wanted
was
to
driven off
love.
a cliff to like fuck
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
I'm taking a break.
Absolutely.
I'll be back. I'll
So
be right
there's
back.
there's a lot of speculation whether he committed suicide or not. That was how it was ruled, I think. But I guess they found that the cyanide that was in his body was more consistent with like an injection or something than it was like
The apple.
Like or maybe
Yeah.
not an injection, but like dang it, they think it might have been an accident, not like he was murdered. Like he did an experiment and something happened.
all the
that he
things
didn't
you
intend.
learn on a board
But,
game
yeah.
podcast.
But isn't that interesting? Okay, so in
Yeah.
Turing Machine, players are eating apples, taking hormones against their will, and attempting to break out of prison using the very abstracted mechanisms of deducing 3 numbers before the other players do. The way the game works is there are a bunch of numbered square cards with holes punched into them. They're like perforated. The numbers on the cards go from 1 to 5 in 3 colors. Each player takes 3 cards at the beginning of the game, 1 of each color, in any of the numbers 1 to 5 that they wish. So say I take 1, 4, and 5 of blue, yellow, and purple. I write those numbers down on this sheet of paper that I have. Then in the middle of the table, there are tests written on cards and other square cards with holes in them that are assigned to these tests. So that's weird. But for instance, let's say the first card tests the yellow card in our hand. The test might be yellow card in relation to 3. Okay, that's what the test says. Then there are 3 results of this test. Either the card in your hand is less than 3, equal to 3. I'm sorry, not the card in your hand. The code, because there's a code we're all trying to figure out, okay? And so the code is either less than 3, equal to 3, or greater than 3 in yellow.
Okay.
If you want to test to see if your yellow card is the correct number or if you're on the right path, you take that square card with the holes in it and place it behind all of your other 3 cards. If you see a check mark appear through one of the holes in there, then whatever number your yellow card is, passes that test. That sounds confusing, I know, because it is. But so let's say my yellow card is 4. I have a yellow 4 in my hand, okay? And I'm going to test this card that says yellow card in relation to 3, okay? So like I said, if I hold that test card up and I see a check mark, that means that the yellow card in the solution is greater than 3 because I have a 4 and it's a check mark. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because remember, there's 3 conditions: less than 3, equal to 3, or greater than 3. Since my number is 4 and I see a check mark, that says that the greater than 3 condition is correct. So any other numbered card I put in there other than a 4 or a 5 would fail that test. Right? Does that make sense? It might not. It might. We'll see. So basically, each player does this 3 times in one round. They can take 3 different tests that are going to test these 3 numbers. There are between 4 and 6 different tests per play to help you narrow down the numbers you have. And after each player tests 3 cards, they then have information about what the new numbers might be. And so they choose 3 new numbers to then test those in the next round. And if they think they've got it right ever, they look at the back of the book and check. If they're correct, they win. If they're wrong, they're out, and the other players try to figure it out. So things I liked. This game is so much fun. I, like Natalie, love deduction games. Not as much as her, but I really do enjoy the act of deducing. Natalie refuses to sleep with me. The only information I have to go on is I haven't showered in a week. I made offensive comments about her dogs. And I just recently ate food covered in mayonnaise.
How do I get around
Now I
this?
got to deduce why. And that's so
biggest
much
underlying
fun.
reason.
Yeah, what could it be? This game has all of that with even less sex, so it's right up my alley. I love that you're essentially testing numbers and comparing the notes you took to use one test to help you figure out and narrow down the result of another test. It's crunchy and difficult in a way that most games aren't, and I like the way that it engages my brain, which is extremely puzzle-like instead of like strategic. How can I figure out what to test based on the information I've collected already? It's really fun, and I love that. It's very much multiplayer solitaire, which I also really enjoy. I don't feel the stress of other players messing with me or doing something against me. It's only the stress of, crap, am I just a freaking idiot? I don't know any of the numbers, and now Natalie just guessed it all. You know, like that could happen, and then you just kind of feel stupid. That's really the only interaction, though, that you're having, which really leads me into the negatives. And so things I didn't like. There's this central dispenser or hub where you're pulling the numbers that you take into your hand from to test each round. And while it's not the biggest deal, they're supposed to be secret. Like, you shouldn't know what numbers I have, and I shouldn't know what numbers you have. But we're all pulling from this central thing.
Right,
so
so you can
if
just
I
watch
just look,
somebody.
I just see you pull 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can easily just see what the other players have. And again, it's not the biggest deal because the second you start testing, you forget everything except what you have.
Yeah.
But if you're paying any sort of attention, you can just see exactly the numbers everyone else is picking, which if you're like way off base and you think someone else is closer, you might just have gotten more information than maybe you really should have. Really, though, my main complaint with the game that may put people off is that this is basically just a puzzle. It's not really a game. I mean, it's a game in that there's rules and there's a way to win, but it's really just a solitary experience, and the fact that there are multiple players doesn't really add anything to it. Now, personally, I love this. Or rather, I don't mind it at all. I enjoy sitting at the table with Natalie while each of us try to figure it out, and then we get to discuss afterwards why we did what we did, or why what we tried to do didn't work or did work, and I really enjoy that. I think Natalie does too, and so it's a lot of fun for us, but I could definitely see, more than most games, people being put off by this aspect of it, because I'd compare this to something like Sudoku, where each of us have the same puzzle, and whoever finishes it first wins.
Right.
It's like, sure, you can apply those rules to make it a game, but really it's just a solo puzzle that we're all doing together. And so, you know, so let's compare this to another similar type of experience with something like Hadrian's Wall. That game is also very solitaire, but the difference there is that it's not just an abstracted puzzle to solve, where Turing Machine is literally just that. Every scenario is just a different 3-number combination logic puzzle to solve by simply testing your current set and narrowing down those numbers. And so unless you're really bad at it, you're always going to eventually solve it. And it feels good when you do, but this is the most puzzle-like game I've ever played, and so I can understand people being put off by that. Like, this is literally just a puzzle. I'm just doing a puzzle. Overall, I'm not at all put off by that, and I love this game. It engages my brain in that way that I really enjoy. I haven't played Sudoku, the board game, and this is kind of like that, and I enjoy that. I'd happily and gladly play it anytime, as I really enjoy engaging my brain in that puzzly way, at the same time that Natalie is. I would rather play this with her, even though we're really just kind of doing it ourselves. It's a fun activity for us to do together, and I really enjoy the conversation that comes afterward. What did you think, Natalie?
Well, I think this was another super fun deduction game.
There's a lot of them.
It's this deduction.
I feel like there's a lot of deduction games.
Yeah.
We
recently.
played this at Gen Con in Lucas Oil. Ben taught it to us.
Right.
From
Big Ben Kennard.
Date Night Dice.
Yep.
The Date Night Douche.
Well, if it isn't Ben from Date Night
The old Date Night Dicer.
So Ben explained this game to us, and like immediately when he was done, I remember feeling like I feel like I'm just about to jump on like a work project, but I'm really pumped for it. Like,
Oh my lord.
That's gotta be the nerdiest fucking thing I've
Is
ever
this
heard.
like work?
We get to
Yes.
work. I
Time out.
cannot
This is like my
wait
job.
to go to work.
I am at
that's what
Gen
it felt
Con.
like.
I'm on vacation, and you're giving me work? This is awesome.
Wait, and I don't get paid for
This
it?
is awesome.
Yes.
Winning.
All right.
I remember feeling like that. I'm like, oh, I feel like I got a job to do, and I'm so excited for it. I was like, oh man.
That's a different take than
good
I expected.
feeling.
I did not expect that take.
we started playing it, and I remember I just like I got the first puzzle in like the second try, and I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
You know, it just
Yeah,
had, it
same.
was like a really good feeling.
My
And-
work is
God, I
awesome.
can't wait to go to work
Your
today.
work is so
Yes.
cool.
I know.
And I don't get paid. I have to pay you. All right.
Also, after the first play, I kind of felt like
Something
this
to
is a
do?
game I'd totally play by
Definitely.
myself, which is like not a thing
Yeah,
that
okay.
I ever do.
Time out, pause. Ryan mentioned earlier there might not have been some sex on this
Yeah.
trip, but if
No
there was
sex.
going to be sex, it would have been in this moment here.
Yeah.
This is the moment. They bought Turing Machine, which was maybe the top 5 hottest games at Gen Con
Yeah.
in terms of getting. You had
I
to
think
get
so.
into the vendor hall quick and buy.
Yeah,
this
we had to
game.
get in the line.
It was
Yeah.
sold out within the first hour every single day. Their copies,
Yeah.
and you had to be in line quick in order to get it. Natalie plays this game and then says these words to Ryan. Says, "I might even play this game by myself."
Oh my God.
And then I'm not even in this conversation, mind you, but then I hear Ryan say, "If I walked downstairs," do you remember saying this?
No.
If I walked downstairs and you were playing this game by yourself, it would be so hot.
I would throw it off the table and bang.
So Ryan had a little floaner
Oh,
just
yeah.
based on Natalie
That
saying
is-
that she would play this game by herself.
Is that not the hottest thing you've ever heard? What if Devin was just
Sounds
like,
good.
you? What if you just came down? Well, you
I
just
know,
woke up.
it'd
You're
be
like, ah, you go downstairs, and she's just got underwater
She's like
city
playing
set
a
up, going
board
through
game?
it. Yeah, you're like,
no, it's hot. It's hot. It's good.
we might have to make a third.
Yeah.
That's what you'd say.
I mean, I seriously would. That's how fun it is. Okay, where is my spot?
Sorry.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, it's just like you said, it's not really like a game. Like,
Yeah.
it's
And I
only a
typically don't
game.
like that,
It's
saying
only
that, but
it's kind of like it's only a game because they say you could just try to like do it before the other person.
Yeah.
And so I agree. If anybody remember the beatdown with
Yes.
about Galaxy Trucker, and everyone just kept saying this isn't even a game, or like this is
Yeah.
just like an activity.
Yeah.
I definitely would understand if people said that about this game, because
Agreed.
I kind of agree. But despite that, because I like solving these puzzles so much that I would do it by myself, then I enjoy it. You know, I would keep playing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
The other
totally.
cool thing is, like, I think there's only like 20 codes in the book, but if you go on the website, there's literally like millions.
7 million.
Yeah, there's
you'd think there'd
millions.
be close
Like, you will
infinite
never
ways
run
to
out
play the
of
game.
Yeah.
of codes to like try to solve.
Well, I mean, we're not after 7 million.
Yeah, if you played 7 million
I
times.
mean, you can't actually play it forever.
But
7
and
million.
yeah,
Jeez.
I don't know. I just think it was really fun experience and activity to do, and even like Ryan said, it is kind of fun to play together, just to try to like do it as quickly as possible. But both of us said like whoever gets it first, they're like, don't tell me what it is because I want to still try
Yeah.
and get it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
because
Okay.
that's how much fun it is just trying to solve the puzzle. And we still are. I mean, we've only played maybe like four times, so we're still at the very like beginning easy mode of the codes. But
it gets
it
so with the
definitely-
20 that's in there, is it like 5 is easy, 5 is medium, 5 is
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
mean? Something like that.
So the way that makes it harder is so at the beginning of the game there's 4. So there's a setup for like 6 tests. The beginning of the game, the first few scenarios, all the ones that we've played, you only test 4 things. So eventually they're going to add a 5th one and a 6th one to test.
Yeah.
So it's going to be harder to deduce
And
what the
not
numbers
only
are.
that, there's like a stack of like, I don't know, maybe like 50 different kinds of tests. And I looked at some of the other ones, and there are ones that get a lot more complicated. Like the ones we start with are like, is it are there more odds than evens or more evens than odds? Is it a 3 greater than 3 or less than 3 in the yellow spot? But it gets more complicated. Those tests do.
Yeah, that reminds me of decorum.
So
decorum starts easy like that.
So
and
it's not going to always just be like
ridiculous.
easy tests. There's going to be more tests. They're going to be more complicated.
That's your work gets even harder. How awesome!
It's so great.
More
wow,
challenging.
work is the best.
it's so
The only
great.
other thing that I would say as like a potential negative is a thing that reminds me of Paint the Roses, where you're writing on these papers. There's not that many of them. If you're going to do this 7 million times, you're going to need
7 million papers.
Yeah,
7 million
there's like not
papers.
even that big of a
At least
stack
3.5 million.
of papers, and you're going to have to like write a bunch of stuff down. So
I mean, I guess the only answer to that is you don't have to use their thing. You could just use a loose leaf paper.
you're right. It's kind of nice though because it's got it all
Or a
like
notebook.
laid out
Yeah.
nicely.
Doesn't have to be loose.
Sure. Could be a bound.
You're
spiral
right.
bound.
You could make your own. You could
Or just laminate
laminate
it.
these,
Yeah,
use
laminate
dry
it.
erase. Like there's a bunch of options. I'm just saying like, they didn't really provide you with enough
They didn't
papers.
give you that.
Let me ask you a question. So this game is not something that turned me on.
Oh,
You like that?
that Turing you on?
Okay.
Turing.
Because of the way that I would feel stupid playing that game.
Yeah.
Of if I played the game and Natalie was done in 3 turns and I was like,
Yeah. Fuck.
So
That
the
doesn't
2
feel
games
good.
that I think of that have made me feel like Alchemist is one that has more of a game element
Yeah.
to it.
Mm.
But I've played Alchemist where I put in what I think is something and I'm just so far
So
off that I'm
wrong.
like, I may as well just restart the game while everybody's 5 rounds in front of me. Or
Yeah.
Code 7-7 where you put something in or you say, oh, I think I have 2, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
No.
And you're like, well, now I'm fucked.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
could have been
Everybody
right on.
else
I was
already
probably
has
right
it.
on 2 of those.
Yeah, so now I'm
Right.
completely screwed. So do you is that something that you would feel if you got something wrong or weren't in
Yes.
the right boat? You're just
That's
way
what,
off.
well,
Okay.
hold on. That's one thing we didn't talk about. If you're wrong, you're just fucking out. You cannot
Yeah.
solve it.
But if you're wrong, you're just out. But let me just say this.
But you can go to work.
It's not like we were saying, it's not actually really like a game. Okay. So like each time you try to solve a code, that's technically one game. And that might
Right.
be like 5 minutes. And
So you're only dumb
you're
for 5
basically-
or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
right. So you're basically just like,
You only feel like an idiot
It's
for a
not
little bit of
even-
time over and over and over.
right.
again.
It's not like you're playing this whole game and you're like, oh, I lost. You're basically just like, oh, he got it first. Oh, now you got it first. Move on to the next one. Oh, I got it first.
True.
You know what I mean? It's
The
not,
experience is
Okay.
exactly the same
It
every
doesn't
time.
feel
Okay.
like, oh, I won or I lost.
like- yeah, I would
it's
say-
more just like it's a
oh, you got
puzzle.
it.
feels
Good job.
like
It's an
doing
activity.
a Sudoku puzzle
Okay.
where like
Right.
you just like, oh shit,
I'd like to
didn't
play
get
it at some point.
Yeah.
I know
don't
that
think
Devin
it would make you feel
hate
stupid.
it.
Devin would not.
No,
hate it.
she
Devin
wouldn't.
would not want anything to do
So
with it.
it wouldn't even be in my house for it would just be
I
collecting
think that
dust.
you would do much better than you
Oh,
think
I
you
think
would
you
do.
do it. I think you do
you
fine.
could figure it
Yeah.
out.
I'll try it.
I think the hardest part about the game is not the deduction part. It's understanding how the
To
core
interpret
mechanism
it.
works.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I
Because all
remember
you see is either a check mark or an X. That's
Right.
all you
What does
see.
that-
And
Right, 'cause at first you're like, well, what does
you're
that
like,
even
I don't know what that
mean?
means. What the hell is that supposed
Yeah.
to mean? And even in my 3rd or 4th play, I was kind of like, Natalie, I need you to help me understand what this means. And then it's just this. And it's like, oh right, okay.
Okay.
That's the hardest part of the game. The deduction part
agreed.
is not that tricky. We played
For
4
now,
times.
right? If
For
they-
now,
if they
it will get
ramp
trickier.
it up.
Yeah.
But for now, Natalie and I both, I think we've gotten it on the same round every time. All 4 plays. And the first play was on the 2nd round. And then the longest it took us was 4 rounds. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
she said, it's not longer than 5 to 6 minutes.
Right.
And it's really fun.
I definitely like to play it. It was hot at Gen.
It was.
People wanted it, and
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
and people are liking it too. It didn't,
Oh, it's
like,
good.
It didn't like Seafall flop like
Yeah, sure.
people are like,
Right.
this is
yeah,
bad.
Seafall
People
flop.
like it.
Good call. Yeah. So that's Turing Machine by Scorpion Masqué.
Yeah, the Hachette and the
Yeah,
Hachette,
right?
They're
Kind of like a follow-up to Decrypto.
yeah. If you like those
Was
games,
this
that's
one?
probably
See,
it.
if you like those kinds of games, this will work for you. Jeff, what else you got, man?
Okay, on Friday night at Gen Con, myself, Ryan,
Me.
Natalie, Dave,
Dave.
Measles, Patty.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Other measles.
yeah,
All the
girl
measles.
Both measles. Yeah.
All the measles.
Boy
all
measles,
the
girl
Patties,
measles.
all the Daves. We all went to AEG's big game night. Okay? This is something that they've done, I want to say 4 or 5 years? 5 years maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know they've done it with
first time we
like
go.
Tiny
is.
Towns was one of the big ones. But anyway, what
Yep.
you do at AEG Big Game Night, you buy a ticket. There's 750 people.
Shout out to
plus.
McDave Mick for
Yes.
hooking us all up with
For
these
getting
tickets.
those tickets and
Yep.
putting it on our badge or whatever he
Yep.
did. He works some magic
Big
there.
shout out there.
So you go there and you get to like learn a couple of the new AEG games, play them with a small group of people. You walk out with some I'll say air quotes free games, but you paid for the ticket.
Swag.
So you get a swag bag of
but
games.
it's probably more, right?
It's a
Retail
little,
maybe
yeah,
more
than retail
than,
for sure. Because I think it was like $35 for
I think it was
ticket.
38.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's 38,
$38,
but we got
and we
two
got
games.
2 games, and the one we're going to talk about is probably an MSRP game, like 45
Yeah,
bucks.
so I think we probably made,
probably got a
made out
deal.
pretty
Yeah. So, and then what's cool about the AEG Big Game Night is you learn this game as your like small table of 4, and then at the end of the night you play it with 750 people. So
Yeah.
that's the idea of like when they say big game night, you're playing it with everyone. So they have to have a game that could be played with everyone, which is cool. So the game that we played, and we played it a couple times, at least my table did, is called The Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Boom.
That's the only time I'm going to say this
Yeah,
game right.
I can never get
It's funny.
the name.
I don't know that it entered your brain and stayed there.
It did
Maybe
not.
even now, right?
It
It still
no,
has it.
I talked to Joe about it, I think today, and I was like, Guildhall Merchant.
Yep.
Merchant.
I just wrote Guild of Merchants.
Because
right on here.
Guildhall is a game.
Yeah.
There's been like 9 games in the last year
With
that had the word
merchants.
merchants
Uh-huh.
in it. So, and then like Explorers everywhere. I played like I have a game called Explorers.
Yeah.
So I have no fucking idea what I'm going to
It's
be calling
really
this
funny.
game. But I wrote it down. The Guild of Merchant Explorers.
That's it.
So whatever I say from here on out, don't trust me. Listen to this audio clip. The Guild of Merchant Explorers is by AEG, and I'm going to spoil what I think. This game surprised me for the good. Let's talk about it. First, when I look at this game, and I was like, okay, you might look at the cover and be immediately turned off.
Yeah.
It is not a beautiful game. You might disagree and be like, it's beautiful, but I think otherwise.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
has like kind of dull colors. The name is just maybe the most generic thing
Yeah,
on the
that's
planet.
probably
Yeah.
why we can't remember.
It's like you just picked out names that are in board games and you're like, hey, Guild of Merchant
It's a.
Explorers.
I say it in here in a minute, but it's like someone went to like random board game name generator
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it came out
Here it
the
is.
Guild of Merchant Explorers.
even how it
Perfect.
looks is kind of like that. Like you
Yeah.
would never you would just walk right by it. You
here's
would never be
tiny
like, "Ooh,
hexes
what's
and
that?"
Things like that. So here's
Yeah.
how it plays. So each player starts with a map. Okay, it's a map board, and there's 4 different terrain types: water, mountain, grass, desert. Again, hexes. You can be like, looks pretty generic. There are a small number of cards that are shuffled up. They're terrain cards, and they're revealed one at a time. And it tells players where to place cubes on their board and how many to place them. So it might say 1 mountain spot, or 2 water, or 2 desert, and they don't have to be next to each other. Or they do. Blah blah blah. And it tells you how you place your cubes on your board. And all of this happens with the goal of building routes. Again, the things I'm saying are the most generic board game things, right? So you're trying to build routes between these like points on the board. I don't even know what they're called, but they have numbers on them which will score you points. You can build up your routes to the corners of the board, and you get to build these cool like little penis-looking pyramids or penis-looking towers in the corners, which is cool. So where the game accelerates is when this card comes up in the first round. It has a number 1 on it. Everybody at the table grabs 2 cards and then picks which card they want to use as their number 1 action. So in the second round, the number 2 card will come up. You grab 2 more of those cards, and these cards are like player powers. They're like awesome actions.
Very good.
In the deck that you flip over that has like 1 mountain, those are boring as shit. Those are 1. But your cool superpower action might be like, place 6 cubes all in a line. It might be like, when you place cubes, collect double the money, which is points. So they're all different, and they'll activate over and over again in the different rounds. So that's really where the game accelerates and becomes sort of the experience of Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Nice.
Yes, I had to look at it again. So the game takes it takes 45 minutes. It's 4 rounds, so you play 4 rounds. So you'll see your number 1 card 4 times. And you'll see your number 2 card 3 times, so on. And then the last round, you get to pick one of your extra ones. You get to pick one of the cool ones. And like I said earlier, I think this is my biggest surprise in a positive way of really liking Guild Merchant Explorer Hall, Guild Hall Merchant Land, Merchants of the flip
Merchant
flap
of
flopper,
Venus. Flip flop.
Merchant
flip
Land
hole.
of the Australia Hotel. Guild merchants. So we played, and I sat down, and this wonderful person, I think her name was Amanda, taught it to us, and I was like, this does not sound fun. And we played the first round, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, they're like, okay, you build these routes, you put them on things. Okay, great. And then at the end of the first round, you're like, okay, take your pieces off the board. I'm like, well, what am I doing?
Wait, why? And
then the moment that you start activating your like cool player cards, I was like, I get it. It like clicked. There was that moment of like, yes, now I can do this. I can somehow combo these actions with this and figure out what cards are left to come out. You're also trying to complete areas. So there's like a land area of 3 desert in a row. Once you finish that, you get to put a little house out there, and that's where now you can start your next path, which is very cool for later rounds. So you're setting up for later rounds, even though the board is clearing. It is a wonderful weight to play with anyone who plays games. Like, to the extent of, I think...
Good point.
Cameron could play this game.
Totally.
If you're playing games with someone who's like 8, 9, 10 years old and they've played a couple games, I wouldn't like say it's like family.
Yeah, that's going to make you think it's too light, but it's not.
You would get, yes, but you could also sit down. I would pick this over and over again with my like serious game
Yeah,
group
totally.
and have a different experience for, I think, a lot of plays. Because there's a couple different maps, and there's a bunch of different... goal scoring cards that you're trying to get throughout the game, and there's a bunch of different just those special power cards that I think could combo well for like dozens of plays. But
agreed.
I'll stop talking. I was pleasantly surprised with Guildhall Merchant Explorer.
Almost.
Of the
Guildhall.
So
Gilden
the Gilden Blades.
The Gilden Blades themes.
Gilden Blades.
Yeah.
Man, this game was so much fun. I love blank and write games. And this one really feels like a blank and write without the writing. Instead, you have cubes you're placing instead of like drawing dots on a map or something. It works better with physical components. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it has that kind of feel of a blank and write game to me. And I loved that about it. I thought it was so clever how you're building this route, and at the end of the round, you have to wipe everything away that you just built, only to begin from those houses Jeff talked about on those. That was the coolest thing to me. That was like, we played it, and I wasn't like, I'm not saying the person that taught us the rules was bad. I'm not saying that, because they weren't. It was a mix between I wasn't paying attention probably. I was a little annoyed at how the whole thing started because we didn't have a seat for a while, and we didn't get to sit next to you guys, which was like, was darn. I wasn't like mad at anybody, but it was just like that was like all happening, and now we got to like play this. And so I wasn't really totally paying attention, I think. And so after the first round was over, and our teacher was like, all right, all the cubes off the board. And I was like, what?
Me and this other woman, Michelle, who it's second star to the left is her like YouTube stuff.
Okay.
And she was like, both of us cleared our entire board, and we're like, what the fuck do we do? And then we're like, okay, now we have, all right. Let's
you
play.
have to. You have to. That's
Both
exactly.
of us were like, well, I guess we'll wipe everything off the board and have nothing there.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I had like 1 or 2 of those houses out. I did not understand the implications. That is, you know what it's like? It's like how no one tells you that high school really matters, but it fucking matters. So do well in high school so you can go to college. It's like, don't put those you got to put those houses out on the board. That matters because that's where you can start in future rounds. You start from those points, and you realize that as you're playing, and it's like, okay, this is really important.
Sacrifice a route early to get a
so I can put a thing out, so I don't have to start in the same spot every round, or I can get further out because you're trying to branch out on this map, like Jeff talked about the whole rest of the whole game, and it organically works really cool the way it happens like that. I really enjoyed the puzzle of figuring that part out. I love the special cards you got to use each round that are all extremely powerful, like Jeff mentioned. I really love the look of it. It's muted and it's dull looking, but I found that to be personally a positive more than a negative. In the same way where a lot of people really hated the artwork for the original Ascension, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. However, let's go into things I didn't like. That artwork and the look of the game is going to drive people away. People are not going to see this game and think this is a delightful little cool cute little game. It's because of the artwork and stuff. So I think that's a detractor for the game.
That's why we're here to tell you. I
personally love it.
It being AEG is going to get it the publicity it probably deserves.
People should probably.
If this was a smaller publisher putting out a great game like this, I don't know if they'd get.
Yeah,
because AEG they have enough money to kind of get this game in your face a little bit more. But man, I would be, like you said, I would be turned off maybe if it was other companies.
I could see probably just not even. If it didn't have a bunch of buzz, I wouldn't even have looked at it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The game's very much multiplayer solitaire, which again I love. But if you're at all not into those types of games, because it's kind of like a blank and write game.
Yeah,
and a lot of blank and write games are very much multiplayer solitaire. You're not really interacting a lot with the other players. This might not be for you. The biggest thing though that I disliked about the game is the way that the point tokens are handled.
Yep.
They're tokens that you're supposed to keep face down. Only you collect them a lot, and there's just simply not enough of them for 4 players to all share.
And not like one. You collect like 9.
There's
11.
ones, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, right? And you're right. Exactly. When you collect them, you get a bunch of them, okay? And so you're just amassing these in this giant pile that you're supposed to keep face down. And when it's time to turn some in, you have to kind of like flip them all over and count them and figure out which one. It's really cumbersome and irritating, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It would have been so much nicer to just have like a sheet of paper and you just tick a box every time you score a point or something like that to keep track of that much more easily. I really enjoyed the look of the game personally, like I talked about, but as I said a minute ago, I think the look of the game will put people off. Both the look and the name are very boring, drab, and not indicative of the fun the game provides or the lightness that it is. It looks and sounds like a boring cube pushing Euro, which we love around here, but that's that's something the game is not. The Guild of Merchant Explorers, like I said, sounds like they took the name from a random board game name generator. There's no pizzazz, there's no whimsy about it, and the game is super fun and light and whimsical. Yeah. Overall, though, I loved this game. I agree with Jeff. It was very surprising to me. I expected to like this game. I did not expect to love this game, and I love this game. I am very happy I got a chance to play it because I don't think if I played it, I would have bought it. I thought that if somebody had it, I'd like to play it because I was interested. But I'm so happy I have it. Again, big thank you to Mick Dave Mick for getting us all tickets to this AEG Big Game Night. Or again, I probably just wouldn't have played it. Yeah,
this wasn't the game that was supposed to be the big game night. Game.
Right.
Yeah, or at least it wasn't supposed to be the game that we were going to walk out the door with in our goodie bag. It was supposed to be Ready Set Bet. They didn't have the amount, the production, that kind of thing, and it ended up being this, and it ended up working well.
Yeah,
I'm pleasantly surprised that they did that. Yeah, what'd you think?
Well, I guess we all agree about being pleasantly surprised. When we got to the game night, I saw this on the table and I was just like,
no.
And I was like, okay, well,
make the best of this one, I guess.
Yeah, and when he taught it to us and we started playing it, I was so, I don't know, I was very excited because I was like, first of all, it's a great weight, like Jeff said. Like, I think the weight is so. The weight to like time ratio, it's just like perfect.
Call with the time.
It's perfect.
Because when I realized like, oh, this is like a 30-minute game, I was like, really? So then I started being like, okay. And then like,
okay.
And then, sometimes we play games where they're like light, but like a little too light, where it's like, is this going to be that fun?
Yeah.
And then there's games that are like, a little too much. Like this is just like right in the middle. It's like perfect weight, perfect
sweet spot.
Time. Because of those two things, like I can see this being a game that we pull out a lot.
Yeah.
It's easy to get to the table. It's not going to take all night. It's not hard to remember the rules. Like,
the rules are so simple.
Yeah.
So simple.
So, and then, I mean, I like how there's like a lot of different like options and decisions to make, which kind of, it's not one of those games where like you have to like kind of like know the right path or whatever. Like there's a million different things that you can try and do, which also makes it very replayable to me. Because like you said, you're wiping the board after each round and then you're like, okay, well, what if I go over here? Or what if I, try to like do some more in this same spot, or and then like the next game you could just do something totally different, or
there's more maps too, right?
Yeah, there's more maps.
There's more maps, and if you build your house on a different part of, they're not called houses, but
I think they're called villages.
If you build them on a different starting spot, then the first card that flips up could completely change where you're going to start building in that round, which I like.
And then you're trying to, you can be going for like building routes to get more villages out. You can be going for these towers. You could be going for these like sunken ships.
Yeah, the treasure tiles were cool.
The treasure tiles.
Damn, I love I forgot about the treasure tiles. Yeah, you draw a treasure from the
Ryan
deck.
said it first. I think I heard it.
It was so sweet. Yeah, it was me. I did say it.
Well, I think it was like the treasure tiles like gave you like I don't know, maybe it was my power. I think my power was like every time you go on the sunken ship, gosh, I can't remember, but like I get like some like extra thing. Like instead of 1, you get 2. Oh, you get 2 treasure.
Yeah, that was one of your cards. If you explored it during it, so you get to place 4
yeah,
things.
So I was doing that a ton. So like
cool.
that was like
That's
really
awesome.
fun.
Those cards were.
But you might never see that card for 10 more plays.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or
But I
it might
mean,
be combined with something else the next play.
right. But there's just like so many different things. Like you're trying to fill in the regions, and you're trying to make the routes, and you're just you're trying to like fulfill like the end game goals, and so it's fun because there's like so many options, and I like that a lot in games. But yeah, it's also a game that's not like rules heavy or heavy in general. It's just kind of simple and fun.
Now.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Oh my god!
I'll say one
That's
more
all
negative.
I
Along
wanna
with
do.
the money, it is hard. It is a little annoying clearing your board between rounds, especially rounds 2 and later, where you have to like.
Yeah,
because your
not
town,
move
your villages
certain
are
things.
there, so you have to get the cubes out of the way.
Yeah.
And if you bump something a little weird,
That's a good point.
Again, those 2 things were annoying, which could have, if it was a roll and right, it would be maybe easier, but different because you're going through rounds.
Yeah.
But I liked the tactile feel of putting those cubes out.
Me too.
Seeing your route was cool.
Yeah.
And I do
think the
agree about
cubes
the
were
money
sweet.
too. That was like
We played.
That was the worst.
That was
so
the
when
worst
we
part.
played it with the way the big game night worked with 750 people is someone, the announcer man, was drawing the card, and he said he was like, it's the mountain
Right.
card. And
Everybody plays
every
one by
person
mountain.
did their mountain, and then everybody did number 1. So that was kind of cool. There was like these people walking around like ring girls that were like holding. So some of the people working at AG Game Night were holding these big cards up. That was kind of cool. We just ended up playing, the 4 of us just flipped all of our coin tiles over because like
Yeah, you
the
don't
both
really
of you
need to
said, you're
keep
playing
face
by
down.
yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're not affecting anyone else and their points ever in this
Right.
game.
True. So if you know what
yeah. What does it
points I have,
matter
doesn't
if
do
you know?
anything to you.
Except that
You can just see
how much
Yeah,
you're
you just
winning
know.
this by.
Yeah.
So like you know
Yeah.
if you're getting crushed, but you can hide them if you want. But it made it a lot easier to be all right. I have 5 ones. Let me take this.
I was crushing our game. I feel like I was fucking crushing it, and we had to stop
Yeah.
because like early. I was like, dang,
because
we
this
like
is
played
so
once,
good.
and I was like, I would play
Yeah.
again. And then we played the big game night, and I was like, I could play this.
I can play this again. Yeah,
just
me too.
rack
I
'em.
want to just keep racking it.
Yeah.
That's a great game. So that is the Guild of Merchant
Explorer
Explorers
Towns.
by AEG. All right, so I'm a pretty nerdy dude. I mean, I play video games, board games. I got a freaking podcast about board games. I paint miniatures. Have a friend. I don't have a friend. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I have a framed map of Middle Earth in the basement that I occasionally pour over with this stupid grin on my face. I love anime, manga, hentai, and I also really enjoy flying stunt kites.
I know what that is now.
Kites that I can use 2 hands with, making them dance and flip in the air, and it brings me stupid nerdy joy. I'm lucky that this hot-ass piece on the other side of the table is also a huge-ass nerd, so I can still have annual sex. But so when Kites was announced, I got really excited for the theme.
Okay, now time out. I got to go back now for a second. Remember at the beginning we talked about our position at the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense because Ryan could have easily been talking about me.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right, other side
I
of the
could
table.
have had annual
Now
sex
they
with
know
him,
I'm
but now
across
we know that Natalie is sitting directly across the table.
Me and Jeff have weekly sex.
Yeah. You have
Natalie is
annual,
the
we have
annual
weekly.
stuff. Yeah, right, exactly. So I got really excited for this. So it's literally just keeping kites in the air. And so it sounds kind of stupid, maybe. I assumed when I talked about this in the games I want to look out for. I don't remember what number it was. It was on the list though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
Kites
on my
was-
list.
It was on
too.
Natalie's list. And I thought that I was like, I might be one of the only people that's really interested in this game because of the kites theme. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Little did I know it was going to be one of the hottest games at the entire convention.
Yeah, they sold
and
out.
it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
It was the first game purchased by Natalie and me at the con, and we quickly got it played. And we played it. We've already played it 10 times.
Yeah, I think I played it 9 or 10 times.
Yeah.
In Kites, players are working cooperatively, like I said, to try and keep different colored kites in the air. As soon as one kite hits the ground, everybody loses. If you manage to get every card played to the table while all the kites are still flying, you win. The way it works is the kites are represented by 6 different colored sand timers, all of different durations. At the beginning of the game, all the sand timers are laid down on their side, and as soon as the first person begins their turn, that white timer is flipped up, and the first player plays a card. The cards simply have 1 or 2 colored icons on them, and whichever card you play simply tells you which sand timers you interact with. Let's say I play a card with the red and orange icons. That means I have to flip the red and orange timers. If you play a card with only 1 color, you can either flip the timer of that color, or you can flip that white wild timer. Players just go in order playing a card and flipping timers until the deck of cards run out. As soon as that happens, players can no longer interact with the white timer, and now they have to play all of their remaining cards before that white timer runs out. If they manage to do this, they win. If the white timer or any other colored timer runs out, they lose. I like this game. First of all, I love cooperative games. Evil Jerk Gamer is fuming right now. I love how the pressure of competition is removed and the level of flat-out fun is heightened. Working cooperatively makes me feel really good and engages my brain in this way that I love, sort of like in deduction. It's fun for me to be part of a team where we all win or lose together. This game is a great example of this, as we're all working together to keep these timers from running out, and it feels really fun and stressful still, but in this frantic way, instead of just like, oh my god, Jeff just took my move and now he's doing awesome and I'm doing bad. It's not like that. Like I said before, the timers are all different durations. So the red timer is only like 30 seconds, but the purple timer is like 90 seconds or something. And so everyone is constantly yelling the entire time. Like, someone needs to flip the red. The white timer is about to run out. Holy shit, someone do something. And it's just really hilarious and fun and frantic, and there's no time to waste. And then it's over, and you lose. And let's rack it again until we win. It's one of those kinds of games. You want to just go until you win. And I love that about it. And it's so fast. Things I didn't like. There's not much I didn't like about this game. We talk about it all the time. In a game this light, it's difficult to find some specific design flaw, as it's literally just playing cards and flipping timers. If you don't like speed games, or cooperative games, or yelling a lot, stay away from this game. Because this game, I guess you don't like kites.
You might love sand timers.
Yeah, you might. Right, exactly. This is all about being zany and quick. And I can see that stressing people out in a way they don't enjoy.
Agreed.
It's great fun for me, but I can think of some people who would just hate their lives if they had to be relied upon to take a quick turn, or else they lose the game for everyone. Yeah. I think Mick would probably hate this game. I think he would just be like,
I wrote down
that
2
game.
seconds before you said Evil Jerk Gamer. Matthias would hate. Matthias
is going to hate this game.
Group would burn this game.
Yeah, they want to.
Mr. Measles say that he doesn't like speed games.
Mr. Measles doesn't like speed games, and he bought it. Well, he's like, you made it sound fun, so I bought it. I don't know.
We played it right next to that pop machine.
We played it with him. I don't know
flavors.
if he actually enjoys it or not. I'll have to find out how he really feels, or if he actually will play it again, or if he's just like, why did I buy this damn thing?
Yeah.
I think Mick would fucking hate this. I think he was not one that would like to be, again, relied upon to do something very fast. Yeah. And if he doesn't do it, then now everyone's mad, right? Luckily, it's so fast that if something like that does happen, you just try again immediately, because there's not much at stake. We've played it. I think when we played it at that place, that restaurant, the very first turn, someone let the sand timer, the red one, run out instantly.
Oh yeah, it was like, I don't even know if I had 2 turns.
Yeah, like they flipped, like the red timer was flipped, and then somebody flipped it again, and so then it's like it's over.
Yeah,
and it's like, who cares? It's just fun.
Well, we played when we played with Ben and M. I think the 5th game we won.
We won on the 5th time.
Yeah, it took us 5 tries.
Progressively better until we finally won. That was so awesome. Overall, I think Kites is one of the better party games I've played in a long time, and I will likely bring this out anytime there's like up to 6 players and we need something quick to play. Because again, I just love cooperative plays. I want to play cooperatively as much as possible.
Yeah,
and this is a really quick filler game to play cooperatively with a bunch of people. So what'd you think, Natalie?
That's what I was going to call it. I said it was a great filler game. I guess I never really thought about it as a party game, but it kind of could be considered that too.
Yeah.
So you were saying, like, if you don't like speed games, co-op games, or yelling games, you won't like this. And I was like, I like all those. Check. You know, like,
yep.
Right,
me too.
When I think this was on my list last week, my last time, my top 5 of games I was looking forward to. The fact that it had a bunch of timers is what grabbed me. So I was very happy to find out that it was also very fun. I like how frantic it is and yelly it is. I love how like we would yell out what color's running out, because it was actually really helpful. Because like if I'm just like looking at my cards and like looking at my cards and then up at the timers and back and forth, I'm just wasting a bunch of time. So when everyone's just yelling, "Blue's running out," somebody, I'm like, okay, here's a blue. You know, like it makes it go much faster when we're like doing that. But it's also like stressful too when everybody's just like yelling like that. So I don't know. I thought it was really fun, and like you said, we played it like 10 times. So obviously that means something. And this is also one where I think the more, what does it play, 6?
Yeah.
I think like the more the better. I don't see it being very fun with like 2 players. You know, it should be a group game.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can. Is it 3 to 6?
Oh, maybe.
I would say,
I don't know, but I think
5-6 would be.
Yeah,
you don't
5-6 would be the most
less
fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think this is a game you want to play with more players.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring this out like, hey, it's a date night. Well, let's play kites.
Yeah.
But like Ryan said, if you're into all those things, I highly recommend.
Awesome. What about you, man?
It's
what
on
do you
me.
think?
This game's fucking fun. That's the way you say this game. It's fun. right?
fucking fun.
It's not like this is game of the year. It's not.
No.
And again, it's not for everybody. The right group can make this game absolutely amazing. The
Or
wrong group can make this game
abysmal.
fucking miserable.
Right, because there's like, and then the timer's
because
run
if
out.
you're I also think the yelling and being able to like talk about what's happening to the sand timers, to me, is the most fun.
That's the best part of the game.
Because you're like, the red is running out, and someone's like, I don't have any fucking red.
Then
Right.
just play
And
a
then
card,
someone's like,
damn
well,
it.
I do. And then like you have
Yeah.
to speed play. And I think that to me, just like your blood pressure just goes so high, but it's only for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The game's
Right,
3
yeah.
minutes long.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's come back down. And
Yeah.
then let's rack
Let's
it and
go
play
it again.
Right, yeah.
And that's so fun. And you can play it so many times. Like you said, we played 5 in a row, and we played 5 in 20 minutes total.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
There's also, I don't think you mentioned this, there's also these challenge cards that come in there that you could up the difficulty.
No, you're right.
of
I
it.
forgot
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
We
I
never
forgot.
played.
We haven't played with those.
So we played
Up
10
the
times
difficulty.
and
Fuck that.
haven't added it.
You're right.
So of the
We haven't
10
needed to
times,
do
I think
that.
I've won 3 or something. Of the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which is a good
That's a
winning
good
percentage.
number.
You feel
Yeah.
like you're close. And the other times have been close. Like there's been a couple where the sand just runs out, or that person can't flip the white timer before the deck runs out, and then you only have 10 seconds to try to run
Right.
through all your
Get
cards
through,
in your
yeah.
hand.
Especially
and
if
that's
you got
just
6 players.
super fun. So I'm interested to try some of the challenge cards, but I also don't know if it needs it. I may play this game another 20 times before I even add the challenge cards, because
Agreed.
I might play it with a different group of people over and over and over
Yeah.
and over
I
again.
might never add the challenge cards.
And again, for some
wonder what they
downsides,
are.
yes. If you don't like speed games, or you don't, or are not in that mood, don't play it. I think that also if like the 5 of us, because the 5 of us play with Ben and M, if the 5 of us played it over and over and over again, we could probably get to a point where we're very good.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. True.
where we know, like, all right, the deck's almost running out. We need to flip the white timer, and then
Right,
we
you
play
kind of
really
figure
fast,
out
right?
some things.
But I don't think that I'm going to play with the same 5 people over and over and over again.
Agreed.
It's
I
going to
don't
be a
think so
new group
either.
of people all the
Yeah.
time to give them that kind of fun experience.
It's almost the point of the game, I feel like. You
Yeah.
want to introduce, like, check this game
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
where if we
This
play it over and over, we're not going to be like,
craziness.
let's do kites again.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So I really enjoyed it. I bought it right next to you. I was like, oh, we're in
Let's
line.
do it. Here we
get
go.
it.
Might
I know
as well.
Roberto sheer boredom like demoed it all weekend.
Yeah.
I even stopped by and played with.
I saw that.
his
Yeah,
demo
that's
once, which
cool.
was really fun. It is definitely worth just taking $20 and if you can, I'm assuming the next printing run's going to be soon, because that was a huge hit for Floodgate, and I would just get this one. It's a great one to have in your collection. Small box, doesn't take up a lot of room, and is a blast. So kites,
Great game. Kites by Floodgate. Jeff, what else you got, man?
I got one more. Okay, I got a game that broke my brain,
Okay.
but that's okay. So there is this publisher called Pegasus Spiel.
Your brain's had it too good for too long.
Too good. That's
Someone
why I
come in
play
here and
Turing
break this man's
Machine.
brain.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Beth at Pegasus Spiel Games.
Okay.
And I want to just say it out loud to you. We talked about the publisher Pegasus Spiel not being like one of the big household names in the board game industry.
Okay.
And I would sort of agree with that.
Sure.
But I don't know why they're not. They come out with good games all the time.
It's funny because when you say not one of the big, like the household names, it's like I agree with you and her, because did she say it?
Yeah.
I agree with her. At the same time, I also would say, if you tell me, like when I saw the Pegasus Spiel banner in the vendor hall,
Yes.
that was like, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I can't wait to go there.
But are we...
I always think Pegasus Spiel games are awesome.
So do I, and Natalie's going to say something.
What is a Pegasus Spiel?
No, I was going to say, as a person who isn't in the know,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously on a board game podcast, so like when you guys talk about publishers, I get to like know, different
Oh, the names.
names.
Of them, yeah.
Pegasus Spiel. I remember specifically at this Gen Con, you guys talking about it, and I'm like, Pegasus Spiel?
Pegasus.
Like,
So what do
almost
you-
like, what?
Pegasus
That's a
Spiel?
thing?
What do
So
you...
that is
like,
not something
what's
that like
yours-
stuck with me
What would be...
as
if,
like one of the big...
if I asked you for publishers, Natalie, what
Yeah,
would be
what's a
like
big
2
one?
that you would say? 2 or 3 that you would be like, I know that this is a publisher.
I got
Right on the
them.
spot.
Okay, let me hear 'em.
Wow.
Okay, ones that before Gen Con?
It's okay, whenever.
Or
Yeah,
like,
say it.
just
No,
right.
just
What do you think of?
obviously not Pegasus Spiel. So that was not in your
Okay.
brain 6 weeks ago. What would you be like? This publisher I know.
Fantasy Flight.
Okay. Yep.
Fantasy Flight.
Fantasy and Some Flights is a podcast with our friend
know.
Nelson.
Yep.
I never know like which one's
What's up,
which.
Nelson?
Fantasy
He's all over.
Flights.
Yep.
Fantasy Flight.
Fantasy Flight.
Yes.
That's a big one.
That's a big
That's a
one.
very big one.
I mean, I can think of a bunch.
Just give me one more.
Yeah, give us
one more. I want to make it like
Okay,
a good
then-
one.
Okay, then give us
Well,
3
yeah.
more.
Okay.
Okay. What are the four X?
Okay, no, stop.
Okay.
So I think of like...
You're like, I got it.
Well, you just said Floodgate, so I feel like that's cheating.
Okay, Floodgate's fine.
Are stalling, milady.
What else? Yeah, you're stalling.
Blue Orange.
Blue Orange.
Okay, Blue Orange.
Blue Orange. Chip Theory.
Chip Theory is one.
Sure.
What is that one?
I don't know.
Is
but
the
anyway.
Eagle Griffin one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good.
But you
Ravensburger.
for
Yes.
For how many publishers you know,
Good.
one of the top ones in your head is not Pegasus.
No.
Like
we were reading a
but
list of
they
of vendors or whatever, and I recognize a ton. I wouldn't have
Yeah, you
recognized.
recognize-
you
Oh, man,
have a
they're
game
so good.
collection of anything. I guarantee you
probably
have a
got
game
some.
by Pegasus Spiel.
Yeah, you got some Pegasus
So,
Spielas.
anyway, so the last game that I reviewed from them was
looking
First
at it
Rat.
Micro
And
Macro.
First Rat was awesome.
Yeah.
That was one of their big hits this year.
Crown
too.
of Amara was Pegasus Spiel.
Yeah, and that, you look at Istanbul has Pegasus Spiel on it. Hansa Teutonicus, their new big box is Pegasus Spiel. Micro Macro.
I know. I just
They're
looked
winning
over and there was like a bunch of them.
Yeah, so they're
Port
everywhere on
Royal.
these
I always
boxes.
feel like they're
Micro
I feel like they're a good
So
name.
I think maybe like the two of us know them because we do.
They're very
we
respected.
pretend to know. Yeah.
Because there's so many board game publishers. I mean, yeah, they have not maybe ascended the ranks of like a Fantasy Flight or a CMON or something like some big like name company. But I still don't. I also wouldn't say that they're like. I wouldn't call them like
They're not
I'm trying to think of a really small publisher. Like maybe 25th Century's on the up and up.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I personally think Pegasus Spiele maybe has more of a foundation.
Yeah.
Like 25th Century seems like they've just kind of come out.
Yeah, and they're
Right?
like busting
Pegasus
out.
Spiele, I kind of put them on the same level as like a
Yeah.
Renegade.
I would
personally.
agree. But that's so anyway. So this game is called FYFE. FYFE was
Spell it for me.
FYFE.
Got it.
FYFE.
Fifey.
But it's called FYFE.
FIFA.
And this game was, again, when I look at the Eric Martin's list on Board Game Geek of Gen Con preview list, FYFE was up there. FYFE had some buzz.
Also, can I just interject
Yeah.
for 1 second?
Yes, please.
Eric Martin, the man who works at Board Game Geek, who put together the list, the Gen
Yep.
Con
And
list.
the
So everybody probably
and the
knows about
Essen
that.
list, that's-
If people don't go to Board Game Geek, he has COVID.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so he was at Gen Con. So this is just, and he put out a post that was basically like, I was at Gen Con, I have COVID. If anybody came into contact with me, you should probably get tested. Okay, so just in case anyone's listening to this that hasn't seen that post on Board Game Geek that may have come into contact with Eric
Yeah.
Martin, get tested.
Yeah.
There's a outside chance you could potentially have COVID. So
Right.
just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
So, FYFE, Pegasus Spiele. Each player starts with their own very awesome looking dual layer 5x5 grid board.
If you can get a dual layered 5x5 grid board,
You should get it.
you should do that.
With on the outside are these like little notches, okay? Which Natalie was like, "What the fuck are these for?" Right
That's
when we
so
opened
cool.
the box. But anyway, you'll find out why.
I was like, why wouldn't they just make it a square?
Oh my
God, she said
Yeah, what are these stupid things?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
Players also start with these like seashell Lucky Charm tokens, which I'll tell you about in a second.
You can sell those down by the seashore.
Yep, that's true. There is a giant bag, which is like almost too big, but good. It is. Like in a good way.
It is.
At least
You're
it's
right.
not too
Almost
fucking
too- You
small.
We could all put our hand in there at the same time.
Yeah, at least it's not too small.
It's like a
'cause we've had
sack.
games where it's like this is full to the top. Yeah, it's a big. It's like Santa's sack.
sack.
Yeah. So it has 125 tokens in it. The tokens are one of 5 symbols, one of 5 colors, and one of 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That make sense?
Yeah.
I'm glad it
5
wasn't
times
4,
5 times 5
5, 6, or
is
7.
125. Right?
Yes.
5 times 5 times 5 is 125.
5 times 5.
This is like work,
25.
Natalie. Don't you love this?
Yeah, 5 cubed.
Yeah, 5 cubed is 125, maybe. And then there's a few seashell tokens in there by the seashore.
She sells them there.
What you do is you stick your hand in the sack.
We all stick our hands collectively.
Yeah. And you
in
touch your hands. You
At what
touch
point
hands
does a
around.
bag become a sack?
When
is it a-
thrown over your shoulder?
Yeah.
Like a continental
Yeah.
then it's a sack.
Does your sack hang low? Does it
Do you
wobble
walk
to
to
and
the
fro?
Can you tie it in a knot?
So you stick your hands in this sack, and you pull out a token, and you place it on your token board. Usually you have 2 tokens on your board, and then you take that token, you place it into your 5x5 dual layered grid.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as you place your token onto your grid, you have to take one of your surfboards, your scoring surfboards, and place it pointing to a row or column that token was placed into.
What is the theme
which is
of this
what
game?
those notches are. I don't know.
Yeah, what does FYFE mean? I'm gonna Google it.
Well, it's like, oh, you got your surfboard.
I think you're like creating.
Is it like a
the
beach?
most appealing?
Because it's like a beach or
it's
something,
like a beach.
right?
I don't know, but it's a puzzle and it's not easy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Lay your tiles on the south side dream cleverly to collect victory points.
South side.
So you must be collecting these things and placing them.
Okay.
Anyway, it could be anything.
It's very abstract.
So if you end up placing a tile that already has these scoring surfboards pointed to it, you don't have to place one. So if you
That's
are
the
placing
dream.
it, yes, that's yes,
Golden
okay.
Ages.
All right, I either ruin this or this is
Yep,
good.
or this is
and I don't
great.
have to ruin something else. So these scoring tiles, these scoring surfboards are a bunch of different variations of how you can score that row or column. So it might be like number in ascending order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or all the same color, or all the same symbol, or like a full house of something, or a mix of just stuff. Okay. You also have to pay attention to the diagonals, which is something I was like, shit. Toward the end of the game, I was like, I don't even have anything in the diagonal.
Yep.
I know. I like forgot about this.
This is why it's good as
So
not square.
the moment that you score, the moment that you finish a row or column, you see if you fulfilled that scoring surfboard that it's pointed to. If you did, you flip it over. If you're the first one to do it, you get a bonus for being the first one to complete that thing. And then once your 25 tiles are put in there, your tokens, the game is done. Okay? So you've collected points throughout. You add up your surfboard points, and you see who wins and who loses to Dave. Okay, that's kind of
yeah, Dave just
what
crushed us all.
happened. See how far you are away from Dave.
Me and Jeff, we were like in the 80s, and Dave had like
Yeah.
120.
Yeah, we're like, okay. So I don't understand why I was so stupid at this game, but it also made me feel better that Ryan and I were close. We're like, all right, well, we're
Yeah,
close.
we were within like 2 or 3.
Yeah, so we were close to each other. But the game, for how simple, because I explained the entire rules to you. The one thing that I'll talk about that in a second. I don't understand why I'm so stupid at putting these tiles into these spots and not fulfilling any goals.
It's not just you.
How am I doing? How am I not
It's
getting
hard.
anything for rounds and rounds and rounds? So the game is difficult. The puzzle is tough.
Because it's random too.
But it is a puzzle that I liked. It wasn't a stupid feeling where I was like, this is bad stupid.
Yeah.
Like when I've played games like we've talked about earlier, Alchemist or Code 777, where I get something wrong and I'm like,
Fuck me. Fuck you.
Because
fuck everybody too.
if you're in the middle of this game, you know that you can't complete all of this. So, all right, let me place a token here to get this column or row done. I know I'm screwing this other one up, but I can't finish them all.
Yeah.
For
Right.
how many score?
At least I know I'll
get.
get this one.
Yeah, there's like 12. You can put out 12 scoring rows, columns, and diagonals. And I was like, you're gonna get half of them, maybe a couple more,
or maybe a couple
less.
Yeah.
And once you get that through your brain, I think you can play the game a little more effectively, at least be a little slightly happier.
I was just gonna say less butthurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The puzzle itself,
Like
if you-
everything's screwed up.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you like a game like Sagrada, which has a little more like drafting and some player interaction with that, but if you like the puzzle of Sagrada of my dice can go here, but it can't go here, and this number can go here, this puzzle is similar to that, but it's harder. So if
Yeah.
you like that tougher puzzle and a little more randomness and having to like think on the spot, I really think you'd like FYFE. The one thing I didn't mention are these Lucky Charm tiles that I think elevates the game to a point at which you don't feel like the randomness is always going to kill you all the time.
Yeah.
So what these are is if you reach in the bag and you pull out a seashell tile,
Down by the seashore.
you can activate one of your Lucky Charm or seashell tiles that you have, which gives you a power. Okay, it is move something around the board. It is score something twice or score something with only 4 instead of 5. It basically are, if you've played Sagrada to continue that connection, it's the tools in Sagrada. If you use those seashell things, you lose some points. So if you don't use them, you get points at the end of the game added to it. Those I really liked. I thought that made the game to me feel not so, boy, am I fucked. Like, I didn't have that feeling as much. We didn't get as many of those tiles get pulled out.
There was still a few.
But there was still a few.
like 3
You're
or
going
4.
to get them in the game, and if they come at the right moment, you can you can feel like, okay, I have a chance. I have a chance to now finish this
They
tile or
could
row.
just be the thing
could
that
be.
makes it go from I have 0 points to I
Yeah.
have 18.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I personally liked the game. It's challenging, where I don't know if I want that challenge all the time. Like, it's not going to be something I play all the time, and especially I play games in my Monday group with smart people who I know, like Joe, Dave, and Bill are smart, and they can do this puzzle maybe more effectively than me, or think about it for longer because I don't take a lot of time doing things. So I could get destroyed in this game over and over again, but I did enjoy the puzzle. We all played this together. What did you guys think?
I really enjoyed FIFA. It felt, like Jeff said, very sagradish.
Oh my God.
We're going to call that sagradish.
Yeah.
You have a grid of things you're placing, right? And then you score based on how they're placed. I really enjoyed that mechanism, much like in Downtown Farmers Market, of choosing how you're going to score.
I like that game.
Yeah, it's kind of random at first, as you have no idea what you're going to draw. Yet you have to place a scoring marker down.
You're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, you place that very first tile. You're like, I don't know. I guess I'll go for this one.
Yeah.
And then the next one, you're like, well, I'm going for this one now. And then you're like, I just fucked myself.
Because your first 5,
so
6
bad.
tokens, you have to put out
based
scoring
on
things.
one token that you put out there, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? So you're just guessing and hoping that it'll work out the way you want to. And when it does, it feels great.
Yes, it does.
When you draw that tile and you're like, oh, I am the smartest motherfucker. But when you're waiting all game to draw a token with a number fucking 4 on it, and you just don't, it is maddening. Yeah. The shell powers, like Jeff talked about, that's what makes the game awesome. I do not like games where you draw randomly and are forced to deal with the randomness, even though there's nothing you could have done differently other than get a better draw.
Right.
Calico comes to mind here, as does the first edition of Bruges. But in this game, luckily, there are these damn shell powers that allow you, when a shell is drawn, to change your bad luck a bit to be able to help you get out of a situation that you were maybe only in because you just couldn't draw the fucking right tile you needed all game until after you covered up that space you needed it for. Well, these shell powers allow you to manipulate your board at the cost of some points, and that decision was good and turned the frown upside down a few times. I really enjoyed the quickness of it, as it sets up in no time and plays in no time. You just draw tiles and play tiles, and that's it. And that really goes a long way into replayability. Things I didn't like. So I kind of already talked about it, but the randomness can feel punishing here. As the game goes on, you can get screwed by not drawing what you need, only to watch your neighbor get the exact right tile they need at the exact right time when they score 18 points and you score nothing.
Is your neighbor's name Dave?
Neighbor's name is Dave. Yeah. There was a couple times he's like, oh, look, I pulled a 4. No, that gives me that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it gives me my 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Wow. 25 points. And I'm like, God damn it, you just drew a fucking 4 right in front of my turn. 3, turtle 3. God damn it, you know?
Yeah.
So that feels very bad. And it's, again, that's just based on nothing other than the right or the wrong pull at the right or the wrong time. And that doesn't feel great and can lead to those screaming pillow moments. Yeah. Overall, though, I enjoyed this game. I don't think I enjoyed it so much that I'd want to purchase it, as it didn't blow my hair back or give me that feeling where I thought about it a bunch afterwards, like something like Rear Window or Kites.
Back?
Yeah, blow my hair back.
Whoa.
Like, whoosh.
Like wind.
But that's a saying. Have you not heard that saying before? It didn't blow my hair back?
Like
That's
I heard like blow my socks off.
Knock your socks off.
Oh.
No, it's knock your socks off.
No, I think it's
Shit's not blowing your socks
knock my hair off and blow my socks everywhere. My socks are all over this place.
I am glad that Jeff has this at least, because I would happily play it again. If like you were like, let's play FYFE, I'd be like, cool, all right, let's play FYFE. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Natalie?
Okay.
Oh boy.
She's getting drunk. This is already her second seltzer that she
if you heard a minute ago, which she could have just opened 6 feet away where she got it from.
No, she's like, I'm going to wait till I get right next to the microphone. And then
when is
I was
be in the middle?
A foot from the microphone.
Yeah, but you were also 8 feet over there by the refrigerator.
Could have opened it right when you
over there.
Yeah, well.
Well,
I'm drunk, so fuck you.
You're an idiot. Fife's dumb. Fuck you. Move on.
I don't know. I had a lot of the same thoughts as you guys.
Here we go.
Use guys coming out. Hey, use guys.
I had a lot of same thoughts. She's Italian.
Use guys.
She is Italian. She's a papalardo. She's a papalardo. As I had the same thoughts as use guys. Her Italianness comes out when she gets drunk on seltzer beer. I had a lot of the same thoughts as I use guys. Luigi Mario.
Oh my god. This is
a very.
You can do that every time.
This is perfect timing to talk about this because I liked this game. I like how it felt like Sagrada-ish.
This was on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this was my third number one because I fucked up the first 2 number ones.
Wait, why did you have to have 3 number ones?
Yeah. Listen back to episode 95 to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Sagrada feel of this where, like you said, you kind of have to like put whatever like fits. And at the beginning of this game, you kind of feel like I got this. Like everything's gonna go my way. It's gonna be great. And then as things like start to fill up, you're like, fuck, that's ruined. That's ruined. You know, like there was at the beginning, I'm like, I just need this whole row to be red. Easy. I like never picked a fucking red again and had 1 red on my whole board. And I was like, are you kidding me?
You guys keep getting over
you know, but I mean, it was still fun. Like it was, you know, there's a lot of games like that, and just trying to like do the best you can in general is just a fun, enjoyable experience. But you guys keep talking about how
you guys.
the seashells really helped you out.
Yeah. Well,
let me just say.
Okay, hold on. I'm not saying that because I don't even know if I used one.
No, you're not. You don't know what I'm going to say.
I don't even know if I used one.
You don't even know.
I don't even know.
You guys better shut up.
You guys shut the fuck up. I didn't even use one.
Listen to this.
Okay.
So in the middle of this game, Ben and Em come by.
Sure.
Yep.
And Emily starts pouring me some wine.
Oh,
and I got kind of drunk.
Yeah.
So probably the second half of this game, I was like I would like we would be on the next turn and I'd be like, what?
Yes,
there was a
that's
seashell
true.
that came out? Like no one told me.
No one told me.
No one said
And
out
so then-
loud. Or like,
Just
you're
so
like
you guys know, I'm about to close my eyes and my ears for the whole game.
Right,
playing.
basically. So I was just like not really paying my like full attention, and then I missed a bunch of seashells, and I'm like, I could have used that, but I feel like it's cheating to like go and like use it now.
What'd you guys have for dinner?
Yeah.
Did we just talk about that? We're
Remember
trying
that?
to just let's finish the game.
We talked
Almost
about
done.
dinner for about 10 minutes already.
I know.
Well, you tell me to listen to every single thing everybody
Well,
has to
Emily was very polite and just acted like that.
Repeated
You didn't have that
exactly.
conversation.
She doesn't have to live here.
But anyways,
She's 5 times a year.
I did like this game. So it's funny because it was on my list and we like walked by it before we played it at Gen Con, and we were standing there and Ryan's like, let's get it. Because
Here
we
we
were
go.
like watching
About to
some
buy
people
it.
play it.
Yep.
And I was kind of like, I don't know. I was like, based on looking at it, I was like, I know exactly what this game is. And I feel like we're never going to play it. And so like,
Never gonna play it.
it's kind of like what you said. Like, I liked this game and I would totally play it again.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we didn't buy it because I can see this being something that like never comes out at our house alone, which is you and me.
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminds me of in that way is Juicy Fruits. We played Juicy Fruits.
We're like, we
last
like
year.
this.
We were like, this
We're
game's
probably not
great.
gonna play
Yeah,
it.
I don't think we'll ever play
But
it.
I liked it. You know,
it
like
was
that's
great.
That puzzle is also fun.
Yeah,
This
like
puzzle
Right,
is
yeah,
really
exactly.
good.
It was really good.
This
but-
plays 5, which helps, I think, in a lot of people when they're shopping for games and looking for like a fun puzzle. When
yeah.
I have 5 people. This is a 5
Yes.
person that will play in the
that's a
same amount of
plus
time
for
that
It
it would.
plays quick, and
Yeah.
I love that about it.
It's very pretty,
everyone
too.
just dumps their
Yeah.
hand into the sack.
Yeah, you just
Oh,
you put it
I-
right in the satchel.
When I Googled FYFE,
Swirl it around.
nothing really came up except just like that it's a name, like a person's like name, like last name or whatever. But
R. Fyfe.
on BGG, it basically says the theme is like dreamy South Seas location with a blue sea beach and palm trees. But what will you find as you dig in
Do I
the
tell her? Who
sand?
tells
Don't
her?
tell her.
Should we have someone write in
No,
and
no,
tell
no.
her?
Did you say
no,
this
just
already?
let her listen to the episode.
Did you say this
Okay.
We're
already?
not going to say shit. We're
Was
just
I
gonna
over at the
tell her.
fridge?
Yeah, you were not you were not opening your beer on
Did you
camera
say this
or on
already?
audio.
Jeff said this exact thing already.
It's okay. It's okay. We had a calzone for dinner, and we got it from this place, but the cheese was okay.
Everybody now has firsthand knowledge of the non-listening.
What am I just supposed to hear every goddamn thing you guys say all day?
He just said that. Well, I
It's
just
okay.
looked up Fife, and here's
I
what I,
don't know if
found.
Fife
God
is like. What if Fife's like an island or something? Is it not?
Classic.
Oh boy.
Classic.
That's Fife by Pegasus.
That's
Moving
a great game. Pegasus
on.
Spiele. One of my favorite things about going to Gen Con is finding that game I didn't expect to find. Roaming the vendor hall is so much fun because of what could be.
The hidden gem,
Yes.
the
It's
diamond
so
in the rough.
great to just wander and glance and hear a little, pitch and stop and demo something quickly and see if it's something you like, or see a game that you didn't know was going to be there and there's a crowd forming. And what the heck is this? This next game I'm going to talk about is that game for me this year. It's no surprise to all of you that I've been obsessed with blank and rights. Of all the games I purchased at Gen Con this year, 6 of them were basically like blank and rights
Except this
for
one.
of
you.
some sort.
Yeah.
As we were walking the vendor hall, we spotted the giant Everdell tree. Everyone was getting their picture taken inside this thing. We wanted to do so as well. So you've likely seen the picture of the 3 of us posted on the Gamecasters Instagram story. Anyway, directly adjacent to the Everdell tree was the Whiz Kids booth, where I immediately spotted a blank and right game I had been searching for a long time called Super Skill Pinball 4Cade. Eureka, I shouted as I held the game above my head like I had just pulled Excalibur from the stone, or held up baby Simba for all of the Serengeti to see, and I instantly got super pumped up. It was then that on the same table, I also caught a glimpse of the next game I just spent the longest amount of time ever preambling about before saying the name of, and this is called Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers Heroes of Undermountain. saying the title of this game is longer than the actual gameplay.
I just call it Dungeon Scrollers.
Now, honestly, I saw this on the table and decided in that exact moment that I had to have the game. I've done this in the past, and it hasn't quite worked out for me, as last year's Arch Ravel indicates, but lucky for me, I'm an idiot. And so here I am again with the same wide-eyed optimism for this guy. So I purchased it knowing nothing about it, other than it appeared to be some sort of blank and right, and I got it home, looked up some reviews, got extremely disappointed, and gave it a whirl. In Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers Heroes of Undermountain, players are essentially solving a maze. You take your marker at the beginning of the round and simply trace a line from the start all the way to the finish. And when you're done, you shout done, and everyone else has to immediately stop. Most points wins. What'd you think, Natalie? Just kidding. So the maze is segmented into a ton of little rooms, and each room has something to interact with in some way, designed to both slow you down as well as earn you points. It's D&D, so you're going to fight monsters, collect treasures, cast spells, etc., en route to the end of the maze, which is usually this giant boss to fight. The way you interact with these things depends on what it is. Say you start the maze drawing a line from the starting room into a connected room that has 2 monsters in it. Before you can leave that room, you have to kill the monsters, which just means you have to spend time shading or coloring in each monster until you can't see them anymore. Then you continue on until you get to a room with, say, treasure. To interact with that, you simply outline the treasure, then you might encounter some stones numbered 1 to 6, all mixed up. For those, you have to simply draw a line starting at 1 and ending with 6, and you have to go in order. All of these things slow you down, but also give you points at the end. Once you eventually get to the boss at the end, he's this huge monster that you, again, have to color in to kill. And once you do that, you yell, done, and everyone else has to stop immediately. You then pass your sheet to the player on your right who totals up your score or determines that you fucked up and penalizes you. And then you go through 2 more mazes, and whoever has the highest score at the end wins. So things I liked. Dungeons and Dragons... Dungeon Scrawler, Heroes of Undermountain.
Just call it Dungeon Scrawler. That's the name.
Dungeons and
Guildhall
Dragons.
Merchant Dungeon.
Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Scrawler, Heroes of Undermountain. Sounds like the most simple and disappointing game you've ever heard of. And let me just say, it is incredibly simple. It's maybe the simplest game I've played in a long time, but holy hand grenade, is it fun. It's so much fun to race through a maze with a dry erase marker, fighting monsters, casting spells, collecting treasure, and figuring out on the fly which room to go to next to get you the most points to kill the boss the fastest. I did not anticipate this being a kid's game, but this one is fun for the entire family. My 10 and 8-year-old both loved it, and Natalie and I even love playing it alone, but we also love playing it with them. It's really fun. The artwork is really well done. It's lush. It's colorful. It's fun to look at. And the game comes with 10 different dungeons maps to explore, and each one can be completed in multiple different ways. There's slightly different mechanisms found in each one, and I was just really pleasantly surprised by what the game was and how much I enjoyed it after finding out what it was. There's also, each player gets a little player power, which is just a different way, an easier way to get you through the maze. And gosh, it's cool. So things I didn't like. There's no way around saying this game is meant for families. It's fun enough that it can be a little filler game for other game groups, but it's so damn simple that it's likely not going to be enough to warrant a purchase for any sort of hardcore gamer looking for a D&D roll and write, because it's not even really a roll and write.
Yeah.
It's just a write.
It's just a maze.
It's a write.
Basically,
yeah. It's basically just a maze.
It's like work.
It's a, yeah. It's work. It's
work.
wow. It's just a maze. Now, I, for one, love mazes, and this one adds to it by making it a race and giving you things to do during the maze. But it's still just a maze. And so I can see people being very disappointed with this game for that reason. I also think, given the amount of ink you're using each play, that these markers will likely not hold up very long to repeat plays. Some of the boss monsters are really large, and to kill them, you have to completely fill them in. And so it's a lot of dry erase ink that you're using each play. And the markers are, those really super tiny dry erase markers.
Even the just entire board is kind of big.
Right, so you're using a lot of this dry erase marker every instance of this game. Now, that's not a huge gripe, but I do wonder how quickly they're going to run out. Overall, though, I absolutely love this little game, and I'm going to have a ton of fun playing this with the kids, pulling it out to play with Natalie when we're absolutely tapped mentally, looking for something to do, as it's really just perfect for that kind of situation. It's just a lot of, as Jeff called kites, just like fun. This one is just fun.
Yeah.
It's just a pure fun kind of a game. What do you think, Natalie?
Well, first of all, man, we talked about 6 Gen Con games, and we all liked all of them.
Yeah.
Which is not normal.
It's not.
I want to
love everything.
Yeah, I just want to point out, everybody knows that if we don't like it, we'll say it.
We're going to talk a little more about Gen Con. There are some games that we're not.
Yeah, that's why we didn't go into depth about the ones we didn't like as much.
You just fucking will.
I loved Dungeon Scrawlers too. I
Wait, Dungeon Scrawlers 2?
Shit.
as
Holy
well.
cow. Oh,
I just bought it.
TOLO.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I always just repeat everything you say.
Well,
but
it's not your fault. You always tend to go after. So I,
Yeah.
you know, I
can.
say everything. You can
At any
explain
point
the
in
game.
time,
I
pick
know.
To explain
And if
a
you
game.
explain, you get to go first.
Back
Yeah.
in episode 30-something, you were a game explainer. And now in the last 60,
know.
you have dropped that hat.
And
I
if
probably
you
could have
picked a
explained
game-
Dungeon Scrawler.
If you picked a game that we all played, you would go first. I would go last.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be great? And then me and you can coordinate, and we
cow.
can look at Ryan's computer
Say
and figure out what he
everything
has
that
to
And
say.
he
then
would have
I'm the
said.
one that's like, oh, you guys already took it all.
I know.
So continue.
No, but I mean, I agree. It's so simple. The fact that you're not just doing a maze, you're doing a maze and like going through and trying to like get all these points, and then there's like 20 different boards, and we've done.
There's 10.
Oh, there's
10.
I thought you said 20.
Yeah, there's 10.
Okay, there's 10, and we've done 4 so
Yeah.
far. And each one is different and like sometimes a little more complicated. Like now you have to go through and get this certain color key to get through this certain door, and just different things like that.
Right. And even playing the same board, you're going to play it different ways.
Exactly, and it's really fun. Also because like it's so simple, but it's also the part that makes it difficult is that you're trying to beat the other players. Like you're trying to go as fast as you can. And so that makes it kind of hard too, because like we were saying, sometimes when the board started getting a little harder, like you're kind of just focused on where you are, and sometimes I would kind of like I would mean to go up towards the top, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going back down. How did this happen? But like that's where it's taking me, kind of thing. Or like other times where you're like, okay, I'm in this spot. I need to stop, take a look back at the whole picture to see where I need to go, instead of so I don't get myself in like a situation, But like playing just with you was like so fun that I would do that as like
agreed.
a little like fun filler game to play at night. And
At
then,
least you didn't say playing with just you was not fun.
100% average.
Yeah, it was average.
but I just mean it was also really fun playing with the kids. They picked it up immediately.
Yeah, they did.
And Lexi loves mazes. It's funny because they always have like mazes on kids menus.
Yeah, like playmats at a restaurant.
Yeah, at restaurants, and like that's like her favorite part of those.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, she's gonna like this, and she did. And the best part about it is like playing a fun game with the kids that we really enjoy.
That's hard to find.
Yeah, because like obviously like we'll like sacrifice some fun for like to
Those
play
kids.
a game with them, because sometimes there's like games that they like and we're like, that game kind of
Yeah,
sucks,
really
but we'll
care
play
about
it to like have a fun family game night with them. So I'm really excited when there's games that we like love that they can also play and they also like, and that's like my favorite
Yeah, this is
part
a perfect
about
one
this.
for that.
But I also thought this was really fun.
So that's Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Scrawlers, Heroes of Under Mountain.
Merchant Hall Guild Express.
Under Mountain?
Guild,
Heroes
I thought you
of
said
Guild
Thunder
Merchant.
Mountain.
No, Under Mountain. Like underwear.
Like Underbite.
Yeah.
Dungeon of
Underhill.
Underbite.
Dungeons of Underwear. So that is six games that we're going to talk about a bunch more here in just a minute when we get into this episode's Natalie's Nook. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's Nook.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I'm excited to talk about our 2022 Gen Con experience. Did we buy a ton of games?
Yes.
Did it live up to our expectations?
Sometimes.
Was it back to pre-COVID status?
Yes.
Let's find out.
Okay.
Oh, spoilers.
Cut
everything.
our commentary.
Roll them.
So basically, this Nook is just going to be like an open general
Chit-chat.
discussion, but we just wanted to talk about our experience at Gen Con. Everything and anything we can remember and share with you guys.
I
like
pooped
this.
3 times on day 2.
No.
Oh, okay.
So
Just on day
let me
two.
just start.
Not
On
the
day
other
no pee.
On day 1, we arrived and we had to do something that we've never done before. We had to stand in line for vaccination wristbands, and we were all very nervous about
Yes.
it because every single person out of like 50, 60,000 people have to get this wristband.
Right.
So we were like, oh my God, do they have an efficient process? How's this going to go? Are we going to be in a
Well,
2
and
hour
we were
long
comparing
line?
it to the line that we stood in for the will call to get our tickets that one year,
Yeah.
where we were in line for 2.5
Which is
hours.
Absolutely miserable.
It was
Right,
miserable.
it was miserable. So like
We had nightmares
A lot
thinking
of our
about that.
friends went to Gen Con on Wednesday night. We don't go till Thursday morning. And so we were like asking them like crazy, like, how was the line? What was it like? Like some people said it wasn't bad. Some people were like, oh man, the line was like super long.
They kept updating us. They were like, okay, it's this time it was only 20-minute wait. But at 5 p.m. now it's like an hour. And then at 8 p.m. now it's like 4 hours.
So like we had no idea like when we walked in what we were going to get ourselves into. But luckily, it was like a 10-minute wait.
We were through in like,
oh gosh, it was.
Would we get there like 11 in the morning? So
we got there pretty early.
It is already after it started, so like I could see it being long, like right before the doors open, which we got there after that, and so I think we lucked out. We had to wait like 10 minutes.
And there was a lot
no
of
big
people.
deal.
The line was open Tuesday before Gen Con and Wednesday before Gen Con.
And Wednesday
So
it was
people
open till
could've
2
went.
a.m.
Yeah, so I think there were people who waited 45 minutes. So if the majority of people that were there on Thursday with us already got their bands, we might have just hit it at a right time.
Yeah.
But I thought the process, even if you waited 45 minutes, the line was moving. It just happened to be a massive
There's like,
line.
here's my card, here's your band. Next.
Right.
It was like a quick thing.
That went really, really smoothly, I thought.
Absolutely.
But yes, I was nervous like shit. I was even debating, and we've never even mentioned going down Wednesday.
Right.
And like finding a place.
I know, I was
or
like,
staying
should we have done
halfway,
that?
or like getting a hotel and then driving in so we're there at 8 o'clock before we even thought about that. Because I thought, well, if we're there Thursday, it's going to take us forever.
Right.
And it took us no time.
Right.
No time.
It was nothing.
Which luckily we didn't do that.
But Jeff, even before that,
Ooh.
was there something that you wanted to share?
Oh, God.
What do you mean? Wait,
so-
what do you... Jeff, what
So
happened?
listen to this.
What happened?
Getting ready for
What
Gen
happened?
Con. So I feel like the week and a half leading up to Gen Con, I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
Right? You're just pumped up. Nobody wants to work. Natalie wants to play games that are like work, but I don't want to like think about work or do anything. I am doing summer school, whatever. So this would be Tuesday afternoon, I taught summer school. I did my board game club, my board game class at summer school. Talk more about that stuff later. I get home and I open the cabinet and Devin bought a little piece of candy. I'm like, okay, yeah.
baby.
And there's not a lot of candy in our house because Devin's on a diet. I'm on like a half diet, so there's not a little candy. So there's a little Werther's candy in there, like Old Man Werther's candy.
I love Old Man
like
Werther's
butterscotch.
candy. Yeah.
So Old Man Werther's candy, they have the OG is the hard candy.
Yep.
And then they have now like a chewy version.
Yeah, the square.
So it's like a rectangular prism.
Yeah.
There's a chewy one. I was like,
a rhombus.
Sweet. Boom. Ate that. Devin had one. Cool.
Sounds good.
I take a quick nap and then I go and pick my son up from grandma's
You
house.
had one of these.
One. And at my mom's house, Jack's grandma, I'm like, I'm feeling a little weird. I'm like, I got some tummy issues going on.
Yeah,
you know?
a little gurgles.
Everyone knows that feeling, a little
Yeah.
stomach
Yeah, a little
gurgles.
gurgles.
Like something's not
And
right.
Devin and I have a secret thing where we call like that kind of thing like you're gonna have a PA, which is like a poop attack.
All right.
Okay, it's that feeling
Okay.
of like I don't have to poop and then oh shit I have to poop.
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
a
like
PA.
it's like an instant PA. It's
Here we
not
go.
like where you build up like oh I have to poop I'll wait a little bit. No, this is like I need to go to the
I gotta go
bathroom
now. If I don't go
immediately.
now, bad stuff's
Okay,
gonna come out.
So we're there and we're like all right the gurgles are happening.
Yep.
Whatever that happens. Could have been a lunch thing. Who knows? So for the next 36 hours from Tuesday into Wednesday, Devin, I'm sorry I'm embarrassing you in front of dozens of people. We didn't leave the fucking bathroom. We didn't leave. There are dozens of us.
Dozens of
We didn't leave the bathroom. Like it was just it was an explosion of shit in my house.
a fucking PA.
I was like, I don't know if this is not a symptom of COVID. I tested myself. I'm like, I don't have COVID. What the fuck is going on with me? Do I have the flu? This is the worst thing that I have felt in a very, very long time. Non-fucking stop. So we're like, what is this? And why do we have it at the exact same fucking time?
right.
So we start, investigative Sherlock Holmesing this.
Sure.
What did I eat?
And come to find out, the Werther's candy that we had was like sugar-free.
Oh, that's the bad stuff.
Which is, if you've heard of the gummy bears, Haribo,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is.
The sugar-free one.
This is apparently the same type of thing. And on the back of this Werther's thing, in the bottom right-hand corner, in tiny things, it says, this could cause a laxative effect. And boy, did it.
Explosive PA.
Why would you
I
sell
lost-
candy that could cause a laxative?
I lost 2.5 pounds over the course of 36 hours.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. I then filled it with island noodles immediately
Right.
when I got to Gen
If you
Con.
want to lose weight before Gen Con, just have one
Yeah, just
tiny
have
one
Werther's.
Werther.
Jeff, what if you had
Sugar-free.
5?
I was so nervous that I wasn't going to be able to go to Gen Con, or I was going to get in the car on Thursday and be like, we got to pull over 6 times because I have to continue to shit over and over and over again.
If you had more, is it
It was
exponential
like-
growth?
It was like nauseating. It was the worst fucking feeling. And I feel like we've all kind of been sick like that. You've been sick like that before. You're just like, I guess I'm just never leaving the bathroom for the rest of my
And so did you not eat anything else?
It was, for Tuesday, no, we didn't eat anything. Wednesday, Devin and I had the soup.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what's going to happen?
Is this going to stay down?
Right. And
it didn't.
It was fucking awful. And then Wednesday night, I started to feel better. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. I woke up Thursday feeling better. So did Devin, and it was all of a sudden just like
gone. As fast as it showed up, it disappeared.
Oh my God.
It was so fucking awful.
I don't understand. That's that's like the tiniest little thing. How does it produce that much bile and evil things
so
from your body?
It was not just us. Devin pulled up some Amazon reviews and looked at other people who were like, don't fucking buy this. Don't eat this. There's some Amazon reviews. I'm going to pull it up right now. That said,
what the hell's in your body that it's cleansing you?
I have no idea. Here's one Amazon review from Anna. If you like being able to poop through a screen, these are for you. You should probably go ahead and call into work. This Anna person ate 8 or 9 of them.
Uh-oh.
She said the effect was my internal organs were blasting out of my rectum at the speed of a bullet.
Oh my God.
She's like, please read this before you buy
this
them.
is just like the Haribo thing.
She's like, on the bottom of the back of the box, it warns of a laxative effect. That's like saying a stick of dynamite may have an explosive effect. It's the worst diarrhea I've had in my life, to the point she had to call into work for a couple days in a row.
Oh my God.
I just can't help but think, what if you had
what
if you just popped 3 of those in your mouth?
Candy.
Yeah.
It was
That's horrible.
insane.
Can you imagine if you did this Wednesday night?
Oh,
you can't go to Gencon.
I would have.
What would you do?
I would have had to drive separately, and it would have taken me hours and hours. I would have had to pull, or I would have felt. I would have been like, I'm sick.
You'd have been in misery.
Right? I am sick, and I was like, and then we figured out Wednesday, okay, we're not yes, we're sick, but we're not flu sick, contagious,
right, contagious.
sick. Yeah. We are apparently Werther's chewy fucking
Just
candy
a stomach
sick.
issue. Yeah.
So those were out the window.
You got the Werther's.
So this is your warning out there.
Fucking nightmare.
Did you immediately throw it away?
Oh yeah,
get this out of our house.
She bought 2 other
you save it for your enemies.
Because one of these things on this
candy.
diet, one of these things on the diet that Ryan also knows is it's 0 sugar.
Yeah,
There's
no sugar.
So if you can find something like a sugar-free popsicle as a treat, that's a cool thing on this diet.
Right. So you're like, ooh,
and we've had
sugar-free
popsicles
candy.
and this other stuff, but this thing apparently has something in it that makes you poop through a screen door.
Fucking hell.
Ridiculous. So that's how Gen Con started, and then I packed, and then we left, and everything was fine.
Luckily, that was it for you rectally.
Yes, that was the end of the rectal problems.
Yeah, you only had rectal pleasure the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay, so that was a long story, but that was the shit that I went through for the 36 hours before we left. Phew.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get there Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, I'll be honest, I don't remember the exact timeline of things. So we get there Thursday. The next thing I actually remember is getting island noodles, because it was almost lunchtime.
Yeah, we pretty much had
And we're like, island noodles.
Yep.
We had island noodles all 4 days. I remember on the 4th day eating it and being like, this is just as fucking good as day one.
Thursday.
Can I talk real quick about somebody we met? It might have been right before. It might have been right after.
We don't have to go in order. We can just...
Well, I just wanted to... It's kind of nice to go in order, because it helps my brain remember sequences of events.
So we go in.
We walk in the 100, 200, 300-ish aisles. We went to Floodgate, okay? And we picked up kites. I don't know if that was before lunch or after lunch. It was the first game we picked up. It might have been right before.
Right away, yeah.
And so we knew that our dear friend of the show, Roberto Sheer Boredom, was working the Floodgate booth.
Yeah.
And so we spot him, and we walk over to him. I don't know. I think you were down at the... Because you weren't there right then, were you?
No,
I think
he
it was
was
just me and
buying
Natalie.
something,
Maybe you were
I
buying
think.
something.
Yeah,
you did.
I was behind
Right,
you.
you were at the
He
counter.
was at the
and so Natalie and I
register.
walk up to him as he's demoing kites for somebody. And we haven't met IRL FTF. Right.
We're wearing
yet.
masks, but we do have
We're in masks.
Gamecasters shirts
We're
on.
wearing tons of Gamecasters gear. I have a badge that has my name on it. And so we're standing by the table. He's animated really into this teach that he's giving somebody with kites. And I'm kind of just standing there waiting for him to stop to see me, assuming that he's going to be like, whoa, my, yeah. He stops. He looks at me. I don't say shit. I'm looking at it. So it's
just
almost
staring
like
at each
we're
other
staring each other
in
down.
awkward silence.
And so from his perspective, he's probably like, what the fuck is this person
weirdos
doing?
doing?
And I was just in my head, I was like, you're not going to say a word, Ryan. Don't say a fucking word. I'm like, your hat says Gamecasters. Your shirt says Gamecasters. Your badge says Ryan James. I'm like, he knows you. And so we just stood there, and all of a sudden it clicked for him, and he gave me that.
Oh, it's
that
you.
thing that I was expecting,
Yeah.
oh my God, god! He like scooped me up in a bear hug, and he's like hugging me, and he's like, I'm so fucking dumb. I saw your gear. He's like, it didn't click.
Yeah.
He's like, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh my god, it's you! Holy shit! And so that was a really cool moment,
right? Like the second like he did that, I was about to just like grab my shirt and be like,
Flash him.
Oh, yeah, pull it up and be like, you recognize me?
Yeah.
This is the last time you're gonna
then he figured it out. Yeah, that was cool. So we got to meet Roberto for the first time. In
we've
person.
been talking to him for years, and finally get to meet him. So they went and got Island Noodles, which is the greatest.
Oh, so
fucking
good. It's still so
crack
it never
in a
gets
carton.
old.
Yep.
It's so freaking good.
It's great.
I mean, again, I don't know the timeline, so I just have a bunch of shit.
You just want us to interject in, or you can go.
Okay.
Hit us.
Since we're talking about people we met, I started writing down all of the people that we like either met or met up with.
Let's hear it.
And I was like, damn, this list is going on and on.
All right, let's hear it.
It's so cool because like, the first few years we went to Gen Con, we just go there for us and we don't know anyone else there. And now this year, it's just like a bunch of our friends.
Yeah. Now we know at least
a bunch of people that we have talked to online, a bunch of people we haven't talked to online. It's just like, oh, it's so cool. So obviously Roberto, sheer boredom. We saw Bonzinator again.
Yep. Oh yeah.
We hung out with Amanda and Wally a lot. Main Street Meeple.
What up,
Obviously
guys?
the Measles. Ben and M. Day Night Dice. The McCowns, Dave, Patty, and Katie.
Yep.
Their other daughter Maggie was there, but we never actually saw her.
I saw her.
Did you?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they were in the gaming hall playing some games.
Right, they were playing Pokemon a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Nelson from Nelson All Over.
Yeah.
Fantasy and Some Flights we've met up with. Chris Charity Board Gamer. Shelly and her husband and her daughter, Franny. That was really cool to meet them.
Okay.
You knew it.
What? No.
What now?
First of all, Shelly, I just want to say real quick.
Dang it. You don't have to say this.
I don't? Well, I'm going to say it.
All right, fine.
So earlier...
Well, I'm gonna.
I just want you to know you don't have to.
Yeah.
On the Discord, I asked you what your daughter's name was, and that was because Ryan was like, what was her daughter's name again? I was like, I think it was Franny or something like that. And he was like, no way. And I was like,
I didn't say it that derogatorily. I was like, no, that's not it.
You're like, that does not sound right.
Like, no,
and I was like, well, what
right.
do you think it is? He's like, I think it's something like Gabby. And I'm like, no. And so then I was like, I'm going to ask her. And so then turns out I was right. Haha. Anyways.
In your face. Gotcha.
In your face.
Gotcha.
We met Matthias, Evil Jerk Gamer.
Yep.
And even got to play a game with him. Kelly.
Which he hated, and that was awesome.
He didn't like it, but we made him do it, so it was fun.
Kelly and Justin, Geek Chic Gamer Kelly.
Yep.
We met Board for Two. Is that their name?
Yeah, Jen and Raleigh.
Jen and Raleigh.
Who were so freaking nice. They were awesome.
They were great.
They were at the big game night with us too.
Yeah. Paula Deming we saw at
I finally got a selfie with Paula Deming. So
Yep.
cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I have.
Yep.
I was gonna take another picture. I took a picture with her last year, and I was gonna take a picture with her again this year. And I was like, we saw her at the Charity Board Gamers meetup last year too,
Right.
Yeah.
and played when we played Gudetama with her husband.
With her husband,
which
that's
he was.
right.
Yeah,
That was an experience.
that was an experience.
Chad from 25th Century, Chris and Caitlin Wilson. I know there's a lot more that like Jeff probably knows about or that I'm missing, but I just want to say one specific thing that was probably one of the coolest parts is we met Ray and Vaughn, who are listeners of the show. And the one thing that's like so cool about them,
What up, guys?
is like a lot of these other people, like we've had many conversations with either one or all of us online, messaging back and forth on social media and
we kind
stuff.
of knew them going in a little bit, a lot.
But like
of
Ray
those
and
people.
Vaughn like reached out to Jeff and was like, "Hey, you're here. We're here too. Want to like
Vaughn was
meet
like,
up?"
"Where are you? Well, let's hang out right now." I was like, "Okay."
And then we met
Let's find
them
each other.
and like just
that was so cool.
Yeah.
it just like made our entire day. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah,
felt
that was
so
that was the
awesome
best part of that whole
they
day.
wanted. They were there. We're not like, we weren't talking to them previously, and they just wanted to like meet up with us to meet us, and it was like we were all like
We wanted to meet
on
you
cloud
too.
nine from that
and hopefully
experience.
this will
It was so cool.
let's keep talking about games. Let's be
Yes.
Vaughn and Ray. We can be you can talk to us now about everything.
Right. It was
Every
freaking
little
awesome.
thing.
I rubbed 3 1s out to it, thinking
Yep.
about that experience.
3 1s.
3 1s.
Yeah, it was. We were like so pumped and excited after that. Like you should have seen us. We were all like giddy. Like, oh my god,
know.
that was
We
so
felt-
cool.
That was
meeting
really
them.
cool. That
Yeah.
was really cool.
But
They were
who am
very
I
awesome
missing?
guys.
I'm sure you met a bunch of other people too.
I ran into 2 Ryans. Ryan, the
Oh,
Meeple
yeah.
Among People, and Ryan
Oh,
from
you saw
Specular
him?
Board. Yep.
Oh,
I saw Meeple Among People kind of
Yeah,
like
Specular
across
Board.
the room. It was one of those like, hey, well, okay.
Yeah.
If I see you, I'll see you. Yeah, we forgot we were Specular Board
yes,
games.
we saw them very early on.
Yeah, that was like the first
And
people we like
McKay.
ran into.
McKay, yep.
Yeah, we're forgetting people.
I
but,
know.
It was such
That's
a
how-
fun thing.
It was
Just
so cool.
even for 2 seconds seeing someone. Or there's just a lot of people who even walked by and we were like, oh, that's so and so.
Oh,
I know
that,
that
yeah,
person.
they're
I
from
know
this.
this
They're
one.
from this. Yeah, I know that stuff's so cool. I bought a timid monster.
Yes, you
yeah,
did.
the
It's a
little
good
They
one,
weren't
too.
there last
Little purple
year.
one.
His name or her name, I don't know. It's purple.
Franny.
His name is Picnic, and he always screams for ice cream.
Yeah,
This little thing.
yeah, it's a cute one.
Let's see. Oh, Thursday night we went to Ben and M. So Thursday night, Jeff and Dave and
The Measles.
Joe and Jen and the Measles did an escape room.
Yes, I'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
talk
a
about
little
that in
more
a
later.
second. Yeah, I want to hear about
But
that.
and me and Ryan went to Ben and M's apartment, who happened to be staying in the same exact apartment
Okay,
building as
that's
us.
crazy. We
Isn't that
talked about that
crazy?
last episode, but
Yeah.
that's fucking crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, where are you guys staying? Let's get our addresses so we can kind of meet up and stuff. And she's like, I think we're at this place. And I'm like, I think we're at this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
What
what
do
are
you
the
mean?
odds? Yeah.
that was
same
so
place.
cool. Yeah, we went over there and
So
played.
we went there and we played 10 penny parks. We played kites.
5
well, Jeff
times.
joined us after his escape room.
Damn it, Jeff.
Yeah.
And we played
Ruined the
kites.
numbers.
And then Reign of Dragons. I don't remember the name.
No,
of
no,
it.
no,
Reign
no.
of Dragonus.
That was a cool
It was
game.
a
was
very
fun.
cool
Let's
game.
talk real quickly about both those games.
Okay.
Josh, can you talk about Reign of Dragonus?
Yeah, Reign of Dragonus is the newest game from Grandpa Beck, who, again, Grandpa Beck is so fucking awesome. The family is awesome. It's a, like, if you want to think of, like, mom and pop board game publisher, they're it. They publish in-house. They're this awesome family. The Grandpa Beck has, like, 18 grandchildren or something outrageous.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like some TLC show that they want to have. But they, like... They
18
create
grandchildren
these
and counting.
games. Yeah, they create these games that are mostly card games in small boxes. Their biggest, most popular one is Skull King.
Skull King.
That's their or Cover Your Assets, Cover Your Kingdom are another ones that are big. This is their newest one, and they go all out to like send to some of their reviewers, and you get like, but they sent like a pin and like pop rocks in this game.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
this cool little
That was like
Little
the first
extra
pin I
stuff.
had on my lanyard this year was from Grandpa Beck, and this is a ladder climbing game that is very, very simple and family weight ladder climbing game. So if you're trying to, like going from Skull King, which is a kind of a faster paced trick taking game, this is a ladder climbing game, and I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
Oh, I liked it
It was
too.
Like 1 through 12 and a bunch of different like powerful colors, right? So each dragon has a different kind of strength, sort of. So 2 2s could be beaten by 2 2s, but with a stronger dragon.
Yeah.
Simple rules. But then there are a couple cards that are like, this is like the super trump, and that automatically wins. There's one that sort of resets the board, which I kind of like, or resets the ladder climbing
Yeah,
to
where
like go
you're
back
climbing.
to the
I think it was
beginning.
like the egg or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
that
dragon
was
egg.
pretty cool.
Yep.
So that's a really good, simple, straightforward ladder climbing game if you're looking for something to introduce to play with family, to people who like spades or hearts. Or
I
you're
didn't
looking
want to
go-
play it.
Yeah.
I did not want to play it. I was like, I haven't heard a thing about this fucking game. This looks boring. And then you were like, it's a climbing game. And I was like, I want to play it now.
Yeah.
Let's play it right now. Let's just play it.
It was
Let's
fun.
deal it
I
out.
liked
And
it a
there's
lot.
not like with for how good I know Haggis is and for how good Scout is, the points in this are like you ran out of cards first, you get 3 points. Like
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
There's no like
It's
let
not
me count the number of
complicated, yeah.
cards.
Right. You go
That's-
second, you get 2. You go
Yeah,
third,
that
you get
helps a
1.
lot. I think with getting it to the table, getting it simple enough for grandma to play it, but also fun enough for like gamers play. So that Reign of
I thought it was
Dragonus
good.
was good.
I would pick that one up.
Mm-hmm.
The other game we played that night was a game that I got really excited about called 10 Penny Parks. It was on my list for Gen Con games to check out, but it wasn't high on the list to check out. So we went by the booth. It was Thunderworks, I think, that sells this one. And we went by the booth and we saw it on the table. And I remember thinking like immediately like, this looks really beautiful.
Oh, was this
Remember?
that guy who was like really sold it?
Yeah, so then the guy who was working there, I should have gotten his name, but he was working there at the booth, and I was just like, hey, can you tell me about this game? And he was like, yeah, let me just go through a little demo. And he just explained it to us, and every single thing he was explaining made me more excited about the game. And it has polyomino tiles. I was like, ooh. He's like, but you place these polyomino tiles on your player board and they can only touch a diagonal. They can't touch adjacent. I was like, oh. And then he was like, and then it's a worker placement game where you're going on these tracks trying to get the highest to get the most points. And it was like, and you get a little ability if you go highest. And I was like, what? It's a worker placement game. If you go highest in the track, you get an extra worker for the round if you want to pay money. We were like, holy shit. And I kept looking at Natalie like, I just cannot wait to play this.
You're like,
I didn't
this
care how much it cost. I was like,
fantastic.
you sold it. It looked beautiful. And so I bought it sight unseen. And this was the one I was hoping was going to be the one that I wasn't super excited about that won me
surprise,
over.
yeah.
And so we took it back and I learned it real quickly with Ben and Em, and we got it played. And I think they liked it more than I did. I know Ben liked it a lot. He played it again later in the convention with his friend Ryan Quinn, who was there with a bunch of guys, and I think he had a really good time with it. And Natalie and I were disappointed.
Underwhelmed.
We were disappointed. Yeah, underwhelmed is a good word.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I
a bad
wasn't
game.
disappointed. I was
disappointed.
underwhelmed. I think, well, for me specifically, it was more like we played it and I was like, that was good, but it's kind of like what I was like worried about FYFE being, where I was like, that was good, but I don't see us ever playing
That's
this.
exactly how I felt.
And I think I liked FYFE more than
I did. I liked
this.
FYFE more.
I definitely liked FYFE more
I
than
definitely
this.
liked FYFE.
You know,
more
so it was
than
kind of
this,
like, that was fun. We probably shouldn't have this in our collection.
Wasn't a
though.
bad game. You know what it was? It was too light.
It was too
Personal.
light.
It was a little bit
yeah.
too
There wasn't
light.
quite enough.
So in this game, you're basically building out a theme park, and it's a worker placement game, which is really cool. And on your turn, you're taking your workers and you're placing them onto one of these worker placement spots, usually to get a card. And that card comes with a polyomino tile, which you then take and you place on your personal player board, which is really cool. And when you're placing these polyomino tiles on your board, you have to place them in such a way so where they're touching diagonally. So you can't ever have diagonally. You can't ever place polyomino tiles touching adjacent sides, which is an interesting twist. There's some games that do that. Prince of Florence, is that what it's called? Does that, and Feast for Odin does that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of a cool mechanism. And I was really excited about it. The production quality is
It looks awesome.
It looks awesome.
It is
on the
so
table.
great table presence wise. It was just a little bit too light. And so if you're looking at this game and it's beautiful and you think it might be something that you are going to get a lot of play out of, I would caution you against this one. It underwhelmed me, but I mean, that's just me. Like I said, Ben and Em, they loved it. Ben was talking a lot about how much he loved the rides on the cards. They had like he was getting into the theme.
They got into the theme.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about any of
Sure.
that. I was just concerned with the gameplay and how it felt. And it just wasn't, I wasn't enamored with the gameplay. It was fun playing with Natalie, Ben, and Em.
It wasn't
I
a bad
them.
game. It just was not really.
It just wasn't.
It just didn't hit for us.
It wasn't
basically.
one that I think I would really be interested in going back to.
Yeah.
Where even FYFE, which is, we also say like maybe we shouldn't have that in our collection. I would rather play FYFE again.
Right.
Not that these games are comparable
that they're
in
at all.
any way.
No.
We're just using them to compare.
I feel like the weight.
The weight is similar.
Although I think FYFE might have a little more.
Who knows? Anyway, that was 10 Penny Parks and Heir of Dragoness.
Nope. Reign of
Reign of Dragon.
Master Balls.
Build Holden.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about other games that we just like played that day? Do you want to?
Sure. What else did we play that day?
So we sat down right away, and there was a game that was on my list that I thought was going to be good called K3.
Oh, yeah.
I think it sucked. And I don't know if it was just like because we kind of rushed through rules and we were playing as we were learning, but it wasn't the puzzle that I wanted it to be. So I was immediately kind of turned off from that. I did like the idea of what it could have been, but it just wasn't there. It didn't seem challenging from the beginning to the end. You're playing these pegs onto a common pyramid, and you have to like match colors as you're playing them. That's like the simple overview. But I felt like the beginning was really, really easy, and then it only got harder with the last like couple pieces. And I was like, well, is that what I want? Like,
it seemed incredibly dull.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah.
It looked. I was like, I want anything to do with this game.
Yeah.
It looks so boring.
So that was really
that was a bummer.
That was a
strange.
disappointment.
That was a bummer.
Good thing no one bought that.
Yeah, and then we played Kites a whole shitload of times.
That brought it
was
back
really
up.
fun.
Woo.
I played a couple games at this thing. Again, I don't want to spoil too much of our top 5.
I know. I
Later.
feel like I'm going to talk about my top 5. but
Just talk
whatever.
about games then. And
Yeah,
then
so there's 2
we'll hit
games
that.
at AEG that are like coming out very, very soon. I played Ready Set Bet with
Yeah, I'm really interested
is
in that
very
game.
cool.
I've heard nothing but good things about this.
Ready Set Bet is just a fast paced It's like horse racing is the theme, right? And you're rolling dice, and at whatever number you roll is the horse that moves.
So when you say that, I think a long shot.
Yes. So you think a long shot, except there's no turns. Someone is essentially being the dice roller. They're the house.
So they're rolling
and they're rolling the dice, and they're moving the horses as they go.
And
so
while that's happening, I'm
rolling, moving, and you're going, all right, the 8 moved a couple times. I want to take my money that I have, and I want to bet on the 8. So the board to the game is essentially just this gigantic grid of who you want to bet. Do you want to bet on the 8 to win, place, or show? Do you want to bet on the 6 to win, place, or show? Do you want to bet on, the blue horses, which are the top and the bottom ones? So you could you basically are throwing bets everywhere. Think of like a roulette table. So as the ball is spinning in roulette, you're placing bets, and at some point the dealer's like, stop. And that's when a certain number of horses crosses the line. You can't bet anymore then.
Once they get far enough ahead.
Yeah. So it's definitely more like hectic crazy than it is turn-based like long shot is. So there is room for both in a collection because long shot is like turn-based. You play cards. You can kind of...
Are you rolling 2 dice?
You're rolling 2 dice.
So 7 is the best odds there?
Yeah. So the 7... So what it is there's like a bonus essentially. If you roll the same number back-to-back, the harder numbers, the 9, 10, 11, 12, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, they'll move twice. So that's how they kind of catch up. But the percentage of times that the 7 will win is still greater.
They'll move twice if you roll back to back?
Yeah. Or they'll move
always move
extra.
twice?
So they'll move two on that second one instead of just one.
I see.
But the percentage of the 7 is still higher.
Sure.
To win, but if you bet on the 7, you're not getting as much payback on the 7 as opposed to the 10 or 11.
That sounds cool.
So it's like a hectic, crazy kind of like betting and rolling.
Is
and
it over
cool.
very quickly?
It's over quick, but you play a certain amount of rounds. So you get money in round 1, and then there are kind of cards that you can buy that will essentially help you in the next round.
What if you're the dice roller? Do you not get to bet?
So the dice roller, you can do one of two things. You can either be the house and just roll the dice and just like kind of be the person that
hypes up
everything, like give the
it's
horses
number 3 by the nose.
Yeah, you can do that, which was really cool. We actually, what was very cool is we got to play it with John D. Clare, who's the designer,
very cool.
That's
and
cool.
he was the person that rolled it.
Oh, of course.
He rolled the dice and he was doing the voice kind of. I don't remember what your question was, but you played over the course of a few.
My question was, does the dice roller do...
What the house can do is either just roll the dice, or they can facilitate the game, or they can place house bets out there. So they have like a certain amount of tiles. They don't get to bet during the game, but they get to almost bet before the game. They get more tiles and they would pay out higher.
I think I would like to play that part.
Yeah, so you can just kind of like you're almost guessing, but if your guess is right, you get a higher payout because you're not seeing it. So you could say, if the 3 of us just played, we could just rotate who does the house every round. Or if a person just wants to say, I'm going to be the dice roller and the person that does it, because it's over pretty quick. And then the next person could be the house on the next turn. It was silly and it was fun, and it's something that I think with the right group could be really, really fun. With the wrong group could be really not fun.
Okay.
It's one of those.
But I think with our group, it could be like a nerd fest kind of exciting.
Yeah,
That's
I can see
like,
that
right,
being like
over
the
here
perfect
type of-
place.
Well, now I got a
for it.
question for you. So we talked earlier about the AEG Big Game Night.
Yeah.
And how you mentioned that this was supposed to be the game we got instead of the Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Yep, that's what it's called.
What are you happy with
disappointed?
the
Yeah.
swap? Would
I'm
you have been? I mean,
swap.
you got it
Guild-
anyway.
Guild Merchant Explorer House is Hall. Gildenstein is
Rosencrantz.
I would play that more. I'm glad I have Ready Set Bet to play in certain situations, but I'm glad that the guild was in the bag.
Yeah.
Are you glad for us? Like, are you like, dang, if you got to play Ready Set Bet, that would have been more fun for you? Or are you kind of like,
Ready Set
this
Bet
is
with 750 people would have been really fucking fun. I think.
Yeah.
Because I think someone would have just rolled it. Someone would have been on a PA system being like, the 2 is up, the 3 is up. Now
Yeah.
here comes the 4.
Oh,
The
yeah.
9's in the bag. Like, I think someone would have been doing that, and we would have been betting on like a common like giant. Which that would have been really, really fun. I wish you guys would have experienced playing the game, because I think you'd be like, okay, this is cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
You can't get it right.
But I'm glad I have it.
Yeah.
And that we can play it.
We got to have a
or
Nerd
we can
Fest.
play
It's
it
got to be a
whenever.
Nerd Fest event.
And at the same event that I went to, we played a game called Shake That House, which was also very cool. It's coming to Kickstarter, and it's... I hate to say that it reminded me a little bit of Tiny Towns because of...
Oof.
But because of the pattern, but
We're
man,
not fans
it
of that
was
one.
so much better than Tiny
Sorry, I
Towns.
hate to
Even
say.
I played it, and it was so much better than Tiny Towns, in my opinion, because I fucking hated Tiny Towns too. But it comes with this cool like you put a bunch of cubes in this box essentially, and you kind of shake them up, mix them up. Think of like Camel Up, where you're shaking the dice.
Yep.
And you push this button.
Oh yeah,
and the cubes drop out into a 3x3 grid.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then if it's your turn, you pick the color that you want, and you place those colors in your city grid based on your perspective, and then everybody else can pick something else that's not that color based on your perspective. So the game has potential of being really cool. I enjoyed it. That's what I played that first day. I don't know if you have anything else you want to throw in there.
Let's see. What did we play? I think those are the only games we played actually Thursday. Thursday night was 10 Penny Parks and the Dragoness game.
Right.
Okay.
And
then Kites. And
Yeah.
then Kites. Which we already talked about how much we love. So yeah, we can move on.
We actually didn't really, you and me didn't really demo too much.
It was more like, hey, give us a quick elevator
Right,
pitch
yeah.
about the game.
Like, what's
Which
this
is
all
kind of
about?
what I like doing
Instead
at
of
Gen
actually,
Con.
like,
It's like,
sitting down.
tell me about the game so I can know if I want to buy it and I'll move on.
Honestly,
you know?
like it all blurs together to me. So I'm like, I don't know which day it happened.
I
You
know. I have
At
a
night,
list
I
of
remember.
games,
I
but
don't
it's like
remember like
when.
the daytime. Like
That's fine. Yeah, so
I can't, like,
Thursday. Well,
differentiate.
Thursday was basically that, right? We went to the convention hall.
Yeah.
And we got island noodles, and we spent the rest of the time there. Then we went back while they all went to the. Do you want to talk about the escape room?
I'll talk about the escape room in our next segment.
Oh, okay. So
That's gonna come up on the
so
list.
we
I was like, there's
um,
something I'm going to skip that I'll just wait till the next part.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, then we went and played games, and then we just kind of were like, okay, well, that's it. We're going to go to bed. Woke up, did the same kind of thing the next morning, right? Friday,
Yep.
we went to the vendor hall. We got there early. We wanted to, we wanted to get Turing Machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
That's the
me and
sprinting in
Ben
line.
went there to get Turing Machine. What did you guys go? Did you guys go to get anything?
We remember we split up doors, and I
Yep.
said, I'm going to go in this door, you go in this door, and whoever's further in line.
I think that was
Yeah.
for the other game.
Was that Twilight Inscription?
Yeah.
I think we did it.
We
both
did it
days.
for both
for
those
the
two?
Turing too? Okay.
So I don't know where Dave and I went, but it wasn't like we didn't rush for anything.
Yeah.
we didn't
Just
need to
kinda
rush for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Acropolis was something Dave was looking at, but that wasn't selling out as fast as Turing Machine
I bought it for
on
him.
those days. Right.
So
okay.
yeah, so we went. He was like, because he
Yeah,
was like,
that's right.
if you're getting in line for Turing Machine,
we pick this up.
Acropolis. I was like, do you want me to get Acropolis for you? He's like, fuck yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good. And it turned out to work out because that sold out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Turing Machine, I believe, did too.
Right. They both did within that first big line.
But so Ben and I waited in line to get Turing Machine. We both got a copy of it.
Yep.
We were very excited about that. And then we ended up going to Lucas Oil.
yes, that was
that's the day we
Friday,
went
and you guys
there?
did.
On
That's where you
Friday.
played that down
Yep,
there.
we played Turing Machine, right?
That's
with
right.
them.
Yeah, I had a couple meetings on Friday with a couple different publishers.
Oh yeah.
We kind of played this cute game called Turtle Splash from Lucky Duck.
Okay.
Which is coming out. It's like a kid. It's like a child's game, but it's like a memory game. I think that I could
Is
probably
this their
play
first
it with
kids game?
No, they have something else that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but they do this kind of cute thing. If you ever noticed if you know what the Lucky Duck logo looks like,
Yeah.
their kid version is like a duckling, but in the same sort of like.
Oh,
kind of
that's
this-
cool.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
really
cute.
cool.
Yeah.
It almost is like you flick this little disc down this slide. It's like crokinole, and then you play like this matching game.
That's right. You told me
It's
about
very like simple, but it was kind of cool. So while you guys were, I think, going to Lucas Oil or doing that, I had a couple kind of cool meetings.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I also played this game that I'm going to buy. It's in my Amazon cart called Hungry Monkey.
Hungry Monkey.
It's just a simple card game. It's like sequential card playing, and you have to play all the cards in your hand and the deck. But some of your cards are face down, and there's ways that you play cards in order to kind of figure out what cards are in front of you.
Okay.
'Cause you have to play those as well. And if you play like a card that's wrong out of turn, you take like a pile of cards. It was kind of fun. I just played like 1-on-1. It went really smoothly, just the two of us, and it plays like up to 6. So it's a game that I'm kind of interested in
Awesome.
playing with more. And it's like a $15 game, so it's an
Sweet.
easy
That
thing
sounds good to me.
to play. But then Friday we did the big game night.
Yep, that was the big game night.
Yep, Friday was big game
So
night.
we're back to Lucas
big
Oil.
game night. Yeah, Lucas Oil. Do you want to talk about that, Natalie? Our experience with that?
Sure. Well, first of all, we arrived slightly late because it took us a lot longer to walk there than we thought from our apartment. And like Jeff said earlier, there was like 750 people apparently attending this game night.
Yeah.
And so we walk in and there's like 2 floors of just
Tables.
back-to-back tables.
I didn't think it was
with
gonna be
all
this
these
massive,
games
honestly.
set up. And it was super weird because on the ends of the tables there was the Guilds of Merchants Past or whatever.
That's what it's called.
The Ghost of Christmas Past or something like that? I don't
The
know.
Guilds of Merchants Past.
They had like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
oh my.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, and like people, these were like 4-player, setups, and everybody, and it was like full, and we were like on the first floor. There's no seats. We go upstairs. There's no seats, and we're like, oh well, in the middle of all these tables, there's this old wall. Is that what it's called? This old wallpaper. That old wallpaper set up, and so we're like, oh, we'll just sit here and play this game. And they're like, no, no one's allowed to sit in the middle seats.
Fuck out of that
You know what?
chair.
We're just like, well, I guess we just don't have a seat. Like that fucking sucks.
And so it wasn't just us. There was a ton of people who were just like searching for a seat.
All right, sit in the middle now.
Yeah.
Right. Then they made announcements. They're like, oh, we realized our logistical error. So everyone who doesn't have a seat can sit in the middle.
What they did was I think they had enough seats, but they didn't anticipate that, oh yeah, we have to have the people teaching the games use some of these.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oops, they counted the staff in the numbers. And so they didn't have so they ended up just sitting us in the middle.
So, the kind of bummer part was like, so we found the measles and the McCowns, and they happened to be sitting at a table where
the exact same table Jeff was supposed to sit at.
which Jeff was a VIP from going to this other AEG event. And so him and Dave got to sit there, and we were going to be able to sit in the middle of that table with all of them.
Yeah.
But then
they already told us no before. So we were like, we can't sit there.
So
we already
right
know.
when they made this announcement that you can, this other group sat there, and we're like, oh, damn.
You should have let them move.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a whiny little bitch about it. Because I was mad when that happened. I was loud, and I was like, we could have sat right in between you guys the whole time.
Yeah.
And they heard us, and I think they were like, "Oh, if you guys can find somebody, we'll." And I was like, "No."
Well, I looked around, I'm like, everyone immediately sat down.
Right. We're not gonna
so, anyways, we just sat like the next table over, just Ryan and I.
And it was delightful. We met two guys.
Yeah,
that
we sat with these two guys.
And they were super nice.
Yeah, we played that. You did because you didn't end up playing that, right? That old wallpaper.
We could have. We left a little early, but no, we didn't.
So we played that first, and it was a cool little game. Do you want me to keep going about the game?
And you met.
Let's see if you can do it.
Oh boy,
can you do it?
Can I do it? Can I do it? Think.
Well, okay, I'll give you some time. Think about it. Before that happened, we were like starting to set the game up, and there was a guy's voice behind me, and he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I get a picture?" And we were just kind of like, "What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Did you want to say this part?
Nothing. No, go ahead.
Wait.
Guys.
Oh, I see. Should I not talk about
Yeah.
this? Okay. Dang it.
Boy. Cut this part out.
Something else cool happened that we might talk about in a little bit here.
I know. I was like, anyways.
In that old wallpaper.
That old wallpaper, you're basically taking these cards and you're trying to like match up like sides to build this like wall of wallpaper. And every pair of like so like there's different
every of like so like.
I'm not prepared. There's different colors, and each color has like a big pattern and a small pattern. And so every pair of big, small color pattern that you get earns you points.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you don't have to, like, to play a card, you don't have to have things match up, but if they don't match up, they just won't give you points.
Right.
And so you're basically just like picking cards. Oh no, that's right. There's like an auction thing.
There's an auction.
That's right.
It's all coming back to me. Pick whatever. I don't give a shit. Pick whatever you want.
I was just hoping I would start talking and then it would like come back to me and I'd remember.
Yeah, you're just picking cards.
So basically, you have a hand of what? Cards like 1 through 10. I don't know. You have a hand of cards.
Yeah, 1 through 10. You have 5.
This deck that you're going through, and like each turn, each round, you're deciding to like auction and play like a number, and everybody reveals their number, and that is the order in which like, so there's like 4 wallpaper cards.
Yep.
Shut up.
I'm not. Shut up. Sit up, shut up.
And each so like the first card, the lowest number gets that card.
Right.
Then second, third, fourth, that's how you pick the cards. And so if there's like numbers that aren't repeating, everybody just gets a card based on the order of the numbers that they revealed, right? But then if people played the same card,
right. We both play a 5. Then what happens?
We both play a 5.
What happens next?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's right.
You play cards,
right.
you get those things.
Everybody has a different color that they are, and whoever's color is at the top at that moment wins that like face off.
And they get to choose between the two.
And they get to choose between those two cards.
Yeah.
The other person doesn't get any card, but they get this like wild card that's put aside and used later. And then the person who won that face off, their color token gets put at the bottom. So then like they're at the bottom of the.
Now they don't win ties. Yeah, now they don't win ties.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool little game. I liked that auction part because what I liked about it was you always go from lowest to highest, but sometimes the way the cards come out, there's more cards that you want in the lower column. And so you want to play a lower card to get those.
Yeah,
I liked that about it. That was kind of interesting. I also liked the way that they were the wilds worked. You couldn't put a wild symbol next to another wild symbol ever. But they were really sweet to have. I lost a ton of the like. It felt bad to play a 5 and then someone else plays a 5 and it's like I lost. Crap.
But you have all the wilds at the end.
So then I had all the wilds at the end. Like that was really cool, that
cool.
really helped me get a bunch of points. We still got our butts handed to us.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it was really, really fun.
It was fun.
I did like it. Go ahead and buy it from me at the auction.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
And that's one of the
overall, the
games we
AG
got
game
free.
night, it smoothed out toward the middle.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But it was
worked
fun.
out.
I would think about doing it again because I enjoyed the experience of it. It was kind of a fun thing. Like they made a big production out of it, which I liked.
Yeah.
There was also a raffle Natalie won.
Oh,
kind
yes.
of.
I won a raffle. I think I won Ecos and War Chest.
Yeah. There's no kind of. She won that.
Because that's like,
Yeah,
so
she
when
won
you
it.
go to this game night, you play these games. They give you this swag bag with 2 of the games that you
Swag
play.
Yeah.
But they also hand everybody like a raffle ticket. And they were just
You won some good games.
Yeah, they were just
Periodically
pulling
through
a
the
bunch of, I don't know, how do you say it?
Sometimes you win one, sometimes you win multiples.
Right, yeah,
Somebody
there's just a
won,
bunch
like,
of raffles
all
that
of the
they
AG
had.
collection.
Yeah,
that they had.
like
There
at the
were,
last
5 or
ticket
6
or something.
games.
That's
Yeah, you could have won the
crazy.
Istanbul Big Box was there. You won Skirmish Boobs.
Yep, skirmish
Yeah.
boobs.
There.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have walked out with a lot of games.
Skirmish boobs and Ecos. Natalie wins.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited about skirmish boobs. I've wanted that
Yeah,
game for
skirmish
so
boobs.
long.
So do you want to move on to like Saturday?
Do it.
Sure.
Saturday
Move on.
morning, we get there and we were trying to rush in.
Really
and get
tried to get Twilight
Twilight Inscription.
Split up again to try to divide
We
and
get in
conquer.
line and we didn't get it.
Wah, wah, wah.
You were like,
I was.
We were like 10 away.
I was.
something.
I don't. I guess if we had gotten there 20 minutes sooner, I could have been. I was like very close to the front of the big crowd, and when they opened the door, I got up to the line. I got so quick. I was like,
Yeah.
"This is awesome."
Yeah.
Literally every other human being that had entered the hall in front of me seemed like they were going to that booth.
yeah, it was a hot game because they had limited copies every day, so you can only get 50 or something. So you had to be in the first 50.
And
to
the
get it.
idea of Twilight Imperium in a roll and write is like everyone wants it.
People just floated
Yeah.
themselves all over.
But the thing was, the reason it was so difficult to get on this day was they let the exhibitors, people that were already in the hall setting up, get in line
Yeah.
before the doors even
and
open.
they get to get in at 9 o'clock. They
Yeah,
get to get
and
in
so
an hour, at 8
they can
o'clock.
just
They
like,
get
oh,
an
it's about time.
hour
Okay,
early.
I'm just going to go in line. So that, great for them. And, they work hard
Sure.
working. So it's not like, fuck these people. But it was also like, okay, it's slightly
Well, we
unfair.
don't have
It was also like,
no, we
fuck
don't.
these
No,
people.
yeah. It was like, yeah. So they didn't let them do that on Sunday.
Yeah, they took some flack. Miniature Market got a little...
Yeah, people were upset. People were upset. Like,
People
we don't have a
complaining.
chance. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck? So they were like, okay, we're not going to let exhibitors do that on Sunday. And we were able to get it on Sunday, which is pretty cool.
And
and we
almost-
were
and
like
barely.
We were like
Oh,
the
yeah.
4th to last copy.
But it was the same thing. I got there the same, like, we just
yeah, we booked it.
booked it right there.
Jen and Raleigh, board for 2. Were,
Ugh, they were so
they
close.
were like
Jen
a few
was like
behind
a
us.
few back from you and
Yeah.
just
yeah,
missed it.
I
she
remember
messaged me.
we didn't because this lady was standing there with like holding a few in her hand, and we didn't realize that was the
That was
last
it.
of it. We thought like,
Yeah.
oh, she'd just go grab some more. So we grab ours, and then it's like a really tight space right there to like get to the registers. So I was like, I'll just meet you on the other side, after you pay. And I like barely even turned the corner, and they were like, we're out. And I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
texting
like,
Ryan, like, oh my God.
Ryan,
You know?
I was like standing at the corner away because I wasn't in line. And they were like, that's it. No more Twilight Inscription. Ryan, like, is slow motion, like, yeah. His arms go up in the air. Ah. And then he looks at someone behind and says, fuck you.
I did
Get
that.
out of here. He didn't do that.
I think there was like a guy in front of
But he
us.
was
Ryan was like,
so
I'm sorry, I'm
pumped.
going to punch you in the arm.
I
It
did.
was like a stranger.
Yeah.
I did. I was
He
like,
was
listen,
so
dude,
pumped.
I'm really excited. I'm going to hit you in
a
the
good
arm.
feeling.
I was like, I'm fully vaccinated. Everything's cool. And I was like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah. And he was like, okay, man, do we need?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really fun.
that's funny. I mean,
So we missed it on Saturday. We missed Twilight Inscription.
yeah, we missed
But
it.
got it on Sunday.
Yep.
Got it on Sunday. I don't know what else.
On
Oh, no,
Saturday,
we
we did get to go to, like, we did.
Brotherwise.
Yep, we did get to go to JW Marriott and play
Yep,
it.
played
Oh
some games
yeah,
at JW.
that was the
Open
other
gaming
thing.
hall.
Okay, I'll just say Saturday was my favorite day.
Oh my god.
Oh, sweet.
It was,
Okay.
it
That was
was
the sex day.
Let's
You
hear
guys
it.
have sex?
No,
No.
Oh man.
We're not
Saturday
allowed
was
to.
my favorite day.
Good. We're sharing a fucking apartment.
You weren't there, but we were not.
Saturday was my favorite day because I was worn out by then. And so we decided in the afternoon that we're like, let's go to the JW Marriott, to the open gaming area and just like play some of the games we got.
Yeah.
And so like
we did.
Amanda and Wally met us there. Patty and Katie met us there.
You're right. That was really
and we just for like the afternoon, and then Jeff joined us later, and we spent the afternoon there playing games. We played Order Overload Cafe by
Let's talk about it.
Oink Games.
Let's not.
Oh, that was so fun.
Game. I think we're going to talk about playing it at the JW, and then we're not going to talk about the other thing
we'll talk
later.
about it.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh, we'll talk
at the
about it
JW. So at the JW, we played Order Overload Cafe by Oink. So we went to the Oink booth. I love going to the Oink booth. They have a ton of games there. They always release a couple each year. This was one of the 3 they released. It wasn't the most popular one. The other one was the Town
66 one was
which I'm actually really bummed I didn't pick that up too. I should have bought that too. But we picked up Order Overload Cafe. I looked at it real quick. I was like, cooperative, memory, speed. I'm like, that looks sweet. I want to pick that up.
Name's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. But Jeff was like, this guy told us that was his favorite of the 3. And I was like, okay, that's all I need. That's all I need to do. And they're not super expensive games. Really small box games. It was like $20. So I buy it. We play it. And this might be the most difficult game I've ever played in my entire life. Let me just tell you exactly what this game is. Let me tell you what this game is about. So what this game is, this is essentially just a memory game. You're working together to try to get these cards guessed that are in people's hand. And so how it works is you play a certain number of rounds. And so it's kind of like the mind. At the very beginning of the game, you play with not that many cards. And then as you work your way through these levels, you get more and more and more cards. And each round, you have to get these cards out of your hand. Again, kind of like the mind. So in this game, though, the mind is not memory. The mind is just play lower cards all the way to the higher cards. In this game, you have a stack of cards, and they all have very similarly sounding names to them that are things that I'm not super familiar with. Okay, they're all
it's like if you're working at a cafe and you're taking someone's order.
Right. So at the beginning of the game, let's say you have 6 people playing. You're in round 1. You multiply the number of people playing by the round number. So 6 cards. So every person gets 1 card. But before they get the cards, somebody reads them all. Okay. So let's say I have 6 cards in my hand and I start reading them. And here's what they are. So Natalie's got the cards and she goes, all right. Hot chocolate. Hot cafe latte. Iced coffee. Iced coffee without ice. Cinnamon roll. Okay? So you read those. Now that they've all been read, we pass them out. And what we do is the first person to start playing is the person right to the left of Natalie. And this person now has to say one of those things that Natalie just read that's not the card they're holding. So you might be like, hot chocolate. And so then, like, I say hot chocolate. Now we go in order, and the person to the left of me looks at their card. If they have hot chocolate, they play it face up. If they don't, they say no, and then it goes to the next person. And then you keep queuing around the table until somebody either has it or doesn't. If somebody has it, they put it face up. Okay? If they don't if nobody has it, and you just made some shit up, like what happens all the time, you have a little token in front of you that you have to flip face down. And now you're out. You can't guess anymore throughout the game. And if everybody's token ever becomes face down, you all lose. You're trying to get, in a 6-player game, you're trying to get 3 people to empty their hand. So in round 1, you only need 3 cards to come out. You only have to remember 3 cards. But then you get into round 2, and now it's 6 people times 2. Now it's 12 cards you have to remember. And then when you get into round 5, which is the farthest we made it, that's 30 cards. You have someone reading 30 cards, and you have to remember.
And everybody, so like you didn't really, so like you said the person next to the person reading like says one of the orders. Well, but then once they get it or don't get it, then it goes to the next person. And then
everybody goes round and round.
Right.
And round.
You're sitting in your car thinking that this game is easy. You can shut the hell up.
It is.
Oh my god!
Shut your filthy dirt.
That makes it so fun because it's so hard to remember.
Game. But it's hard. It's hard for everyone not named Natalie and Patty.
No.
Yes, you were
you were the MVP.
Fucking. I don't even. I was like.
More on that later. Maybe.
Yes, definitely. I was just so impressed with that. But so, like, again, the things are all so similar. You know, iced coffee, iced cafe latte, iced cafe latte without ice, room temperature milk, banana
strawberry milk,
strawberry milk.
Or there could be 4 iced coffees.
Yeah, iced coffee.
Like, did I say
iced
3
coffee?
Or is it 4 of them?
And if you have 2 of them, there's only 2 left. You know,
then you're reading 30 cards, and you're like, were there 2 or 3 or 4 iced lattes? I don't know. You know, like
it seems easy at first.
Yeah.
It is maybe the hardest game I've ever played.
But it's also like hilarious.
The weight is a 5.0 on board.
Right. So then like at one
It is
point like
so
everybody's
funny.
like keeps getting out because they can't remember past a certain point, and so then there's like 1 or 2 people left trying to carry
Natalie and
everybody
Patty.
through the round,
Yep.
and it's just like
It
hilarious.
was so fun. I'm
Yeah.
so
Oh
happy
my
we bought
God.
this game. I want to play this all the time. It's so funny.
At the JW, so we played that, then we played some kites, and then Jeff joined us, and that's when we played Rear Window.
Yeah.
And then we went back to our apartment, ate dinner, and then that's when we played FYFE.
FYFE, yeah.
Yep.
And then Ben and M came over, and
More
then we
Order
played
Overload.
Order Overload
Burr, burr,
Cafe
burr,
again,
burr, 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 burr.
Yeah.
which we'll probably talk about.
Talk
later.
about
No,
later.
definitely. Will.
Okay, and then we decided, all right, it's time to go back to the convention hall, the convention center, because Charity Board Gamer had this like game meetup. Also, we wanted to see Card Hall get destroyed for the first time
What's
ever.
Card Hall, Natalie?
Card Hall is like this big area at Gen Con where people like build. What kind of cards are they?
Like
Magic.
Magic
Any
cards.
cards.
They take
Pokemon
cards and they like
Yu-Gi-Oh
build
cards.
all these
collectible
like
cards,
cool
yeah.
things. Like some people like make words out of them. Some people make towers out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, people throw coins, and it's kind of like a charity event
Yeah, they
kind of
raise a bunch
thing.
of money and
People throw money and destroy it all, and then they like, basically like,
Yeah, they raise, like,
collect
$4,000,
that
I
money
think, this
to
year.
raise.
They talk
yeah.
for 45 minutes before anything happens.
I know.
Yeah, that was actually really annoying.
That was
It
really
was
annoying.
annoying.
That
That
was
was
disappointing.
really
So now if I ever go
annoying.
back and want to look at that again, which I might never want to, if it starts at 10 o'clock, nothing's going to happen until 10:30.
Don't
Right.
even bother. There was a bunch of BDNBFs that were just like soaking
Oh
it
my
up like it was
God.
hilarious, and it was not.
Well,
here's
it was
the thing.
so freaking stupid.
One, yeah, it took forever because like we thought, oh, at 10 o'clock this happens. No, we had to
No.
wait forever.
No.
But two, we weren't there first, so like I couldn't see anything because
Yeah.
people were in the way. I was like, I
Right.
was crouching down,
just a
looking
little guy.
between
Emily
some
and
guys'
Natalie and I
legs,
just,
and I'm
like,
like, this
left.
is dumb. Yeah, we just like
The
left.
three of us were just like gone in another room.
I was
We're
holding
like,
out
I
hope.
can't- I
Me,
can't.
Joe, and Jen were just
Yeah.
like, we were really holding
So-
out hope.
Okay, this is when one of the funny things happened.
Okay.
So we were playing all these games, and then we decide, okay, we're gonna go back to the convention center to go to the board game meetup or whatever, charity board
Yeah,
game.
charity
Which was
board
fun.
games.
Thanks, Chris,
Yeah.
for putting that
Yeah.
on. That
Yes,
was very
it was
cool.
very cool. We
Glad
saw a
got to
lot
meet
of cool
everybody.
people there. But so, like I told you, when we were playing FYFE, Emily poured me some wine, and I was a little bit drunk. And then
bit drunk.
I was like, I'm having a great time. I don't want this to end. So I decide I'm gonna bring. I want to bring a drink with me. So I found my like water bottle, and it's like purple, so it's not clear. You can't really tell what's in it. And I had this like hard seltzer, and I poured it in there, and I was like, I'm going to bring this with me. And so Jeff and Dave and Ryan were like, all right, let's go. And so they're like out waiting at the elevators.
Oh my God.
And I'm like freaking out, running up and down the hallway.
She was so afraid. She was like,
I was like,
"Oh,
where's? I was like, I can't find my badge. I can't find my badge. Where's my badge? I was like going in the bedroom. I'm going in the kitchen counter. I'm like, I
yells
swear I
at
left
me
it here.
from the room. Brian, where did you put my badge? She's freaking out. I'm like, okay. As I'm going in there to help her, I hear a muffled like, wow, the elevator's here as fast as it's ever gotten here.
Yeah, we've
From
never.
Jeff.
We, one of the elevators is broken. It took us 10 minutes
Yeah.
to get an elevator all the time.
Every time. So the elevator, ding, it's there. But Natalie is running
I'm still
around.
in
She
the
can't-
apartment
she
because I'm like,
cannot
I don't know where
find
my
her
badge
fucking
is. What
She
do I
can't find
do?
it. I walk in there for 1 second, and I see her just like, she's like, her eyes are like half closed, and she's like darting her body everywhere in this place. Like, what do I do now? And I'm like, the badge was around her neck, hitting her in the face as she's doing
Right,
this.
because there's like 30 pins
It was
on
like
it.
flailing like around.
The best part is Brian just yells at me, "You're wearing it, you fool!"
In the meantime, Dave had to send the elevator down because there was somebody
Goodbye,
in there.
elevator.
We lose the elevator, and now it's the longest it's ever taken.
So yeah,
the elevator to
Dave's
get
like
to us.
gone down the steps. I'm like, oh no, I'm so stupid. And so I like go out to the elevator, and me, Ryan, and Jeff are just standing
We're just
there,
waiting there.
and standing
at one
there
point, Jeff's
and
like,
waiting.
you know, this is on you.
It's your
He's like, "This is your fault," and
you
I
did
was like,
this.
I
You did this
take
to us.
responsibility for this.
You fool.
You're wearing it, you fool.
That was a
Great.
crazy sequence of events. That
It
happened.
was so crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if I.
That's it. And that's Gen Con.
That was Gen Con.
And that's Gen Con.
Let me talk about my games I brought home.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Really quick. FYFE. Guilds of Past Ghosts.
Yep.
Whatever they're called.
Yep.
Skate Summer from Pandasaurus.
Very cool. I want to play
Oh
that
yeah.
one.
Terracotta Army.
Yeah.
Was one of my most anticipated. I'm so excited to play that.
I can't wait to do that.
I brought home Brazil.
Oh, I want to play that too.
Yep. I got the Australia pack. Australia.
Did you get Gutenberg too, or did you skip Brazil?
I did not get Gutenberg.
Okay.
I held out on Gutenberg
Me too. I
for
held out on
some
both of
reason,
them.
but I do want to play that up.
Me too.
I got Australia and all their new kind of expansions and things like that.
Very cool.
The new Avalon. I got Wormholes. I got Ready, Set, Bet. Kites. I got the Batman Everybody Lies, which is like a detective game, but in the Batman universe. Rear Window. That old wallpaper. The Red Cathedral expansion, which that is top of my list also.
That's very
this game
cool.
that comes in a bag called Nacho Pile.
Nacho Pile.
And I think that was it. And I got the Arc Nova pack, the expansion boards, the new boards for Arc Nova.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Those were,
Yeah.
I was so we got those too. I was like petrified the entire time we were there because they just give them to you in this flimsy little plastic
Yeah.
thing. And they're so long that you can't really put them anywhere. So I was kind of like terrified they were just going to get like completely.
And that was a Thursday buy, so we got that right away, and it's like carrying it around all day, scared.
So let me tell you the games we got then. We got Kites.
Let me tell you what
10
we
Penny
got.
Parks, Turing Machine, Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Scrawlers, Underworld, whatever. We got Dungeons, Dice, and Danger, which is a roll and write that I had. Again, I can't wait to play this one. Dave, Donkey Kong was like, look at this. And I was like, what's that? And it's a regular, Richard Garfield, I think, made it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to go get that. So I did.
And that came with something, and then another cool pin.
Yeah, right. So that came with Echoes, which is like a little
It's like an audio escape room.
yeah, like an audio escape
mystery.
room kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Guild of Merchant Explorers. I got Space Station Phoenix. I'm excited to get that one to the table.
right.
Vengeance Roll and Fight, Twilight Inscription, because we did get it. The Cosmic Encounter expansion, Cosmic Odyssey, which makes Cosmic Encounter like you can play it in like a what do you call it?
Campaign.
Campaign. Thank you. We got the Pinball 4K. We got that old wallpaper. We got Chronicles of Avil, the kids' game. We actually did get to play that one.
Yeah,
We can
that's
talk
right.
about that a
We
little
played that
bit.
with the kids.
We got Skirmish Boobs. We got Ecos. We got Sink or Swim, that game we played with Matthias. We got this really awesome game. Actually, I haven't talked about it in a while, called Cryptid Urban Legends. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, that's number
No,
one.
we didn't.
Oh, you're right. We had that one
Oh, you
before.
already
Yeah,
had it
now
for
that's
months and
number
months
one.
and months and set it up and play. Maybe almost played it.
We got Order Overload Cafe. Jeff, can you say the name of that book we have right there on the table?
Book of Rituals.
Now, this Book of Rituals we found at the Board and Dice booth.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say we. Dave was just like, "What's this?"
What's
What's this
And they
book?
were like, "Oh, it's like a puzzle book." And we were like,
We're all
Journal
like, I'm buying
29,
that. Yeah.
you know, Codex Mysterium. Like these gave us like flashbacks, and I have not opened it yet. But if you don't know what these kinds of books are, it's basically just a book of every page is a different puzzle, and
words, numbers, picture, like
right. And usually, I'm not sure if this one works the same way. Usually, like answers you get on puzzles come back and help you in later puzzles. And I am very pumped about this one. Dave had just sent a message into our Gencon group saying that he thinks this is just as good, if not better, than Journal 29. And Journal 29 blew us all out
we
of
all
the
love
fucking water.
that.
It blew our hair back.
It blew our
socks
hair.
off and knocked our hair back. We also got the Arc Nova player boards. And I think that's all of the games we got. Oh, and we also got the Critical Foundation. We got a promo pack to see if we like it.
Okay.
That's
a
I'm
good
really
idea.
excited
Okay.
for that.
That's
yeah,
right.
so that's pretty cool. So if we end up liking that, we can buy that one later. So that's
it was
that.
good. It was a good haul.
It was a good-
It was a
It
good
also
con.
felt, to answer your question earlier, Gen Con felt like Gen Con of old a
Yes,
little bit.
it sure
the
did.
number wasn't as high. You know, they touch about 70,000 when.
Yeah, I think they said
Pre-COVID.
over 50,000.
But I think they were
was
around
what they said.
55-ish thousand on the Saturday. So that's a bigger number than the 25 or 30.
So
that it
Saturday
the
was
year
their biggest
before.
day. It really felt
didn't-
like Friday was
I
bigger
know.
to me.
I know. So, or maybe that was just the big number. Maybe it was Friday, but
Yeah.
that to good over 50 felt a lot closer to.
Yes, the vendor hall was completely filled like it was before. Where like last year there was like a whole section that they didn't have anything in except like tables for people to eat at.
And now we're only 360 days
Where
away
are
from.
Jeff and Dave? I lost them. They could be anywhere. I don't know where the hell
Only-
Jeff and Dave are.
I heard Natalie say that, and Ryan was
No,
like, "Are you kidding me?" And
are
I
you
was like, "Kidding
serious?"
you about what?" Oh, there they are.
We were just walking. We got island noodles. We're walking to eat them. We're walking in the hall on Sunday to eat them, and Natalie and me were walking together side by side. Jeff and Dave were literally the two people directly in front of us walking side by side because we had just walked in together. We are still together walking, and Natalie, all of a sudden out of nowhere, we were walking for like
God.
10 minutes.
Oh,
She's like, oh, we lost them. Where could they be? And I'm like, who? Like, who are you talking about? And she's like, do you see him? And I'm like, do I see who? I'm like, wait a minute. Are you serious right now?
I was just like looking past them and like,
Why?
I don't know.
Right in front of us.
In my head, I was like,
turns
that's
around
not them.
like, what are you talking about? I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah, you know why I heard you? Because you're literally right behind me.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh my god.
Two awesome Natalie moments that happened during
Waiting
Gen Con.
for now we're 360 days away from the next one or something.
We are.
Yep.
And that's how it always goes. You look forward to it all year. It's over in a flash.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, okay, a whole year
Yeah.
away.
So now we're looking forward to Nerdfest. That's always, I feel like,
Yep.
Gen Con and then Nerdfest's coming up.
Yep. Now Nerdfest is next.
that
Maybe
gets
even
us to the
Grand
next
Con.
thing.
We might, Natalie and I might hit Grand Con in the very beginning of September. We're not totally sure yet if we're going to go, but that's like the big convention for Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest one I think that Michigan has.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nerdfest is coming around the corner. If you guys don't remember, we have a new venue for Nerdfest this year. We are going to a hall for the first time, which is kind of right around the it's like in the same-ish area here in Michigan, and it's free to come. So if you want to come to Nerdfest, there's a post that I made on Instagram that talks and details all about it. There's a GoFundMe if you want to, you can support. It's all free, so you don't have to do any of that. And we're going to have some notable game designers show up, like Matt Riddle, Ben Pinchback, who are the designers of Three Sisters. We are going to have the designer of the hot new Kickstarter game coming up, Kyperium. Matt Cousineau is going to be there. We're going to have a lot of awesome, fun things. We're going to do tournaments. We're going to do... we also have David McGregor, the designer of Dinosaur Island and Right. He's going to be there. It's going to be a blast. We're going to do a lot of awesome stuff. We cannot wait. Tournaments. Maybe we'll do the Ready, Set, Bet thing. Anybody wants to play Maria? Let's play Maria at Nerdfest. I am
Maria tournament.
interested. Maria tournament.
Oh my
That's like the Twilight
God.
Imperium tournament. That some people were like,
Tournament.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay, get in
When's
there.
it going? When's it going to happen? Yeah, so that was Gen Con 2022.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a good time.
It was a whirlwind of awesome memories and stuff like
It
that.
sure was.
Right? I had a good time. Good nook, Natalie. All right, you guys. Are y'all ready for this?
Check it.
Check it. That's right. Here we are with the Gamecasters staple. The association train has pulled into the station. And I'm coming in hot with 10 Gen Con stuffs for Natalie and Jeff to guess based on clues I give that are associated with that stuff. If I say skirmish brews, you say
War
Chest.
that's the way it works.
Is it
Most
all
points
games? It's
wins.
just Gen Con stuff.
Gen Con stuff.
You're right. I did say stuff.
Shit.
It is mostly all games.
Mostly all games.
Mostly all games.
Mostly.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 90% of it is games.
9 out of 10.
Maybe. Here we go with a special Gen Con 2022 edition of the Association Station. Number 1, Butthole.
Butthole.
Butthole. We gave Butthole.
Butthole. This is a Gen Con edition.
This is a Gen Con edition.
Right?
Butthole.
Butthole. Oh man.
Welcome to your classy Gen Con podcast.
Jeff, can you keep score, by the way?
Butthole.
Butt.
Yeah.
Butthole.
Butthole. Okay. We can
Butthole.
go on to the next
All right,
one.
let me write that one down.
Good. You should write that down.
Butthole.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Butthole.
Butthole. Number 2, Dime Playgrounds. Natalie.
10 penny parts.
Nice.
I know.
Natalie, nice.
Yeah,
That's what Jeff would be. Yeah, if Jeff did that, you'd be like, "Oh, that's stupid."
God,
God, of course. Number 3, Ceramic Squadron. So, Jesus Christ, Nelly.
Terracotta art.
Yes.
Yeah, look at you, butthole.
Did you read? Did you see this?
Yeah, right.
I just know what we got at Gen Con.
Number 4, the only game at Gen Con worth buying, according to Natalie. Jeff.
Cryptid Urban Legends.
Cryptid Urban.
Oh, I was like, what?
Number 1.
You didn't know.
You got it.
Oh, Ceramic
Only
Squadron,
game,
ding,
yeah.
Terracotta
Boom.
Urban. Natalie's the number 1 game. What the fuck could that
Hey,
be? I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
I honestly don't even remember the name of it. So I probably would have got it wrong.
Yeah, it was your number 1. Got a butthole. What number?
Number
What is
5.
butthole?
What is
Oh,
butthole?
What's your butthole?
Number 5. I don't know if I can do this one. Number 5. 5 folk who 5 for 5 for 4.
What? Do it again.
It's something unpredictable, and in the end is right. 5 folk who 5 for 5 for 4. Jeff.
Fife. Instead of life. I hope you have the time of your life and Fife.
Why were all the other words with F's?
Here we go. Oh, God.
No.
Oh, man.
Dumb. What's the next word?
Hope you have the time of your Fife.
No, it's 545.
Yeah,
5, 4, 5. I was writing this. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
it's
the
good.
dumbest thing I've ever
Genius.
done. No, I was well aware of the stupidity. I was
Did
like,
you spell
oh,
it
it's gonna be
out
funny.
on your, like,
I
type
did.
it out with
FIFOPE FU. All right, number 6. Crack in a container.
crack in a container. Did you have crack in a container? What number is this? 6.
There's number 6.
Crack in a container?
Crack in container.
Like crack is in the drug or
Yes.
like a crack?
Again, you're just trying to get the answer. Oh, is it like crack? Like if I'm point, like just tell me when I point to it if you would tell me this.
He's like, am I
Like,
closer?
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it should sound familiar. It has been said earlier this episode. That's one of the clue.
Oh.
All right, number 7. Dice puncher.
Can I guess crack in a container?
Yeah.
Is it island
It
noodles?
is island noodles.
Damn, that's the one.
Yep, that was the one.
All right, so what are we on butthole? What's the other
No,
one?
number 6.
Butthole.
Or number 7. Dice puncher.
Dice puncher?
Yeah, dice puncher. That sounds kind of
I would
fun.
play that game.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun.
Like instead of rolling dice, you just have to punch
Yeah,
it.
you just punch.
You just punch it off
Punch.
there.
Dice puncher.
Dice puncher.
Yeah, you punch dice.
What could it be?
Soccer.
Rock'em sock'em.
Bad at this. This is literally
Rock'em
games that
sock'em
we
dice
just
puncher.
talked about and
I
just
know, I'm like,
bought
what?
seconds ago. It's not like there's even thousands we have to choose from all over board games. We bought we played like fucking 12 games. And there's 9 of
I
them on
know.
You can do it. Dice
Dice puncher?
puncher.
This is not where you're winning
Okay.
goofy scrawler games.
Number 8. Well, so what do you have? You still have butthole.
We have a butthole
Duh,
and we
butthole
have
And you have
Dice
dice puncher. Well, now we go to number 8. Vaginas.
oh vaginas, vages.
Vaginas.
Vaginas.
Oh, this is bad.
Jeff.
Wormholes.
Yes.
I got it. Here's the eye roll. Need
I guess that could be
that one.
That could be like butthole. No.
Well,
Maybe
because then he
not.
wouldn't said hole.
Right.
If it was
See?
wormholes
Are
and
you
buttholes,
recording
it
Jeff
would've said
knows.
Holes.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly right.
Okay.
Whatever I want.
Vaginas.
Vaginas is
Wormholes.
where your
Yep.
worm goes.
What about butthole?
Butthole.
Butthole. Is that number 9 also?
Yeah.
Another
It was
butthole.
good. Yeah, it's a different one. Number 9. Bill's 47% success rate means that usually the
Uh-oh.
shoulder bow hand move.
Bobbity
Bill's
Bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi
40%.
Bill's
So Bill
47%
wins.
success rate means that usually the my clue one. Should I give you a clue
boy.
on this one? Just think about what you know about Bill and games.
He wins a lot.
Specific to Bill.
He wins a lot.
Mhm.
He wins 47% of the time. Just ding it, Natalie.
Do it.
You twitched.
You did.
No.
She was almost there. No, you're gonna
That's
wait.
not a
Okay,
game.
number 10.
That.
Iced mocha latte without ice.
Oh, God. I'm not even thinking.
Order Overload Cafe.
Yes, I was gonna say you have to get the name right. Ice or overload. I mean, order overload. God damn it. Order overload.
Something
Order
about Bill
overload
winning.
cafe. Okay, so you got butthole.
Butthole.
You have a
One.
dice puncher,
and Bill winning.
and you have Bill's 47% success rate. Means that usually
I don't
What
the
else was
Kind of look at the, like, what? I'm not looking at the picture of games I brought home, but I don't want to.
I know. I'm like trying to picture it in my head.
picture
And they're not
buttholes
necessarily
in my
ones
head.
we bought because did you buy one?
I got wormholes.
Oh, okay.
yep, Jeff has wormholes.
I have a butthole.
He does.
I'm just thinking about
Butthole.
buttholes.
Yeah,
know?
that's a good idea. I would
If
think
you think
about buttholes.
long enough about buttholes, the answer will
Ding you.
penetrate you.
While you are thinking about those, we'll
Yeah.
come back
While
to
we're
those.
thinking about buttholes.
We had
Bill's
such
winning.
a great time at this year's Gen Con. I thought it would be fun to end the show with our top 5 moments from the convention. Now it might make sense to you why we didn't talk about a lot of things
Yeah.
that we were going to talk about. So we're going to go, let's go, Jeff.
Rear windows, butthole.
Oh, I thought that, but I was like, I don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it?
Oh, rear window. I get it.
Because
now.
it's in your rear.
I don't get it. Yes, I do.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, yes, I do.
Well, I was going to say that, but I don't get it. I get it now.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I get it.
I get it. I don't understand. I understand now.
That's funny.
Good job, Jeff.
Nice, yeah.
So you still have
Dice Puncher.
Dice Puncher
and
Bill
winning
Bill's
everything.
47% success rate means that usually the number. So we're gonna go Natalie,
boobity, hand
Jeff,
movement.
me for this one. So Natalie,
Okay.
why don't you start with your number 5 favorite moment or whatever
Gencon
from
crap.
Gen Con?
Okay. My number 5 is the food. So, obviously, like,
Gotta
Okay.
go
Use
booba.
guys.
Shaka-da-ding.
obviously, everyone already knows about Island Noodle and how freaking good it is.
Yep.
But we also this year had a lobster roll.
Oof,
From
that
a
shit
food
was
truck.
Sounds
was
Yeah, you
very
could have bought another
expensive.
2 games.
We could have,
But man, it was
delicious. I would say it was worth it, but it wasn't worth it. Like it was worth it. Like I didn't eat it and go, that sucked.
Sure.
It was delicious, but I also was like, we can't do that again.
Yeah, like we could only
It was like
spend this
$60 for both
for
of us
both
to have
of
this.
us, and all we had was like a lobster roll and some chips.
Yeah, it was like 3 bites and it was gone.
Right.
You know, like it
but
was delicious.
It was very
It
yummy.
was delicious.
And then the other notable, well, we also had like Chick-fil-A, which we love.
Hmm.
And but the other notable food is we went to this restaurant called Sauce on the Side
The
and got
calzones.
some delicious calzones.
That was great. I would definitely do that again.
Oof, those were good.
They were yummy. And like the funny part about this, like Ryan kind of mentioned in his intro, was they were like, oh, we'll just get a fountain drink. And we all walk over to the fountain drink and we look at every single one of the things and we were like, what are these?
the fuck?
We had never heard
Are
of a
these
single
drinks?
one.
Yeah.
And
One
they
of them
didn't-
did say lemonade. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
it's like,
That's
Bill's
true.
cowboy juice.
They didn't even have like the flavors
but it was
on
like
them.
browns. We're like, maybe
Yeah,
that's
like,
Dr.
maybe
Pepper.
it's Dr. Pepper.
Right, we had to
Or it
like
could be root
guess.
beer, I guess.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
a
know.
root
We're like,
beer
what are
Cowboy.
these? I remember we were like standing there just staring at it, and this guy,
Yeah, like what the
this
fuck
guy was
is
behind
this?
us, and we're like,
We're
sorry,
like, do
we
you know
don't know what any of
And he's
these
like,
are.
no.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
It was the only way we knew was the colors. We're like, this one's kind of yellow, so maybe that one's like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
right.
This one's like red, so I guess that's the Coke. Yeah, that
But
was
man,
really
I feel
funny.
like, I mean, maybe the food stands out more because like we've been eating like so healthy and been on like a diet for like the last few months. But
Yeah, we were like
I feel
let out
like
of
we
prison.
had really good food there, like every meal.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, Jeff, what about you, man? What's your number 5?
Good one. My number 5 is the AEG stuff that I did.
Yes, we can talk about that now.
Game night was a blast, and then also AEG put out this email for like content creators / whatever the hell I am for people to come to this like event. Okay, there were 3 or 4 different time slots that you could sign up for, and they lured you up to one of the presidential suites at the I don't know Marriott, one of the
hotels.
one of the
adjoining hotels.
Marriotts that's called
Yeah.
this, and or maybe it was the Westin, maybe it was the other one.
Yeah,
Maybe it
the
was
Westin was
They lured
and
you.
the Crown
they were like,
Plaza
come
or
up here.
something.
Like
And
a trail
when
of
you
board
got
games.
into this very cool like presidential suite, they had a bunch of games set up, new and coming out games. And John D. Clare was there to play Ready, Set, Bet, which I already kind of talked about. Shake the
awesome.
House is a new game. Shake That House is a new game that's coming out from them. And it was just cool to kind of, see all this new stuff and feel kind of important. Which I'm like not important, but it was cool to they made you feel important.
You are,
Yeah.
baby.
And then when I walked in, Roberto was also in there, so that was kind of
Oh, right,
that's
that's a little
cool.
more comfortable. So we got to like demo some new games, see some new games that are coming out from AEG. I got 2 like kind of special promos. So if you have Space Base or Tiny Towns and you like that fucking game, let me know. I have this promo that I'm happy to send you because you can only get it through the people that were there.
Very cool.
And I don't want either of them. So if you want them, let me know.
Very cool.
It just it was a cool experience. They gave away like this giant Lego thing, which I know Raleigh won. And
Oh, really? Oh, that's
yeah.
right. That's right. That's right. He
Oh,
talked
I know,
about
that's
so
right.
that.
It was
that's
like a
so
boat
cool.
or something.
So
The boat.
it was a cool experience that I'll definitely remember for years to come.
Very
as
awesome.
a Gen Con thing.
Wow. Well, number 5 for me is, I guess I'm going to mirror what Natalie said or parallel. I just wrote Island Noodles. Every year. So that's the only place we get it. I think you can you get them somewhere?
They're around.
But
Like-
we only get them at Gen Con.
Yeah.
And it's the most excited I am for food all year long.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, by the time Gen Con comes around, I feel like I am jonesing,
I'm like, yes.
frothing at the mouth
I need the
for
noodles.
island noodles. And if you haven't had the island noodles, maybe we're pumping them up too much. You think they're too much broccoli. I don't know. But they are so fucking
They're just
good.
good, yeah.
And so we have to have them at least once a day. I say at
Yeah.
least because
Yeah.
there's no cap. You can have as many
Yeah,
as
you can
want.
have as
Right.
much.
But
as
at
least
least
once a
once a day.
day.
So number 5 for me is also island noodles.
Nice.
Natalie, what's your number 4?
My number 4 Okay, so when we went to the AEG game night, this is the part we didn't mention about it. When we were playing that old wallpaper, this guy came up and started talking to us, and he was the designer of that game.
This is so funny.
And
This is really funny.
Yeah.
we were kind of talking to him, and he was super kind and super friendly and
Very humble.
Yeah, and so we were like, oh, I think Ryan was like, oh, have you designed any other games, or this is your first game? He's like, oh, I designed a couple other party games. You probably never heard of them. And he's like, one of them's called Medium, and we're like, we love
Everyone started laughing.
Medium.
kidding?
He
We're
said that. We were all cracking up like,
We're
are
like,
you kidding
we
me?
love that game. We have so many inside jokes from that game. It's amazing.
Plus, like a couple years earlier, that was like the hit
high.
of
yeah.
Gen Con.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and the other one is this one called Green Team Wins, and we're like, we would have bought it, but it's sold
Yeah, the
out
game
at
is
this
sold out
Gen Con.
very quickly on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so that was super cool meeting him and talking to him, and he was so nice.
Yeah.
And that was one of the highlights. I thought that was really
It
cool.
was great. He
I was
so
able to have
humble.
him
It was really
sign
funny.
that old wallpaper on the way out.
That's awesome.
So I got
Oh,
my bag,
really?
and he was
That's
standing there. I was
cool.
like, hey, will you sign the game? So that was pretty cool.
You got to
That's
show him your fanny
awesome.
pack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, just fantastic.
That will
Yeah,
roll into
group-
my number 4.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Let's
So
hear
my
it.
number 4 is we got some pins. We got some like professionally made acrylic pins. They're
They're
very
so cool.
awesome, and handing those pins out was a
That
blast.
was fun.
It was
Yeah.
a blast to just like give them to random people.
Because we were like proud of them, and
Or-
we knew that people, when they took them, were
Yeah.
going to be like, oh,
I think
cool.
people were impressed because
Wow.
they're very colorful and
Yes.
like nice looking.
People
and-
like wore them. Like later, I saw people like actually wearing them. And I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, they
Everybody
didn't
we
just
gave it
throw
to
them
were like,
away
oh, they're
for no
still
reason.
wearing them. Yeah.
And then I got a fanny pack on Friday, and I think I'm a fanny pack dude.
You're a fanny
now.
pack guy.
It was so fucking awesome.
You look
very
so good at
I
that
just
fucking
wanted to wear.
thing.
I'm gonna wear this thing next year. I don't give a shit.
Well, I like how you wore it on the hip. You didn't like. It
wear
wasn't like in the front,
and then
like a fupa.
I put the pins
You
in
hipped
there so that it was easy access.
Yeah.
To like whip them
Zip,
around,
and
and
then
then
Well,
boom. Here's
every
a
single
pin.
time he opened his fanny pack, he made this huge display of
Yep,
it.
it was. You did. You did. It was like this big, like, like ostentatious,
Obviously,
like,
a
ha.
huge grab.
stance.
But I don't think you can. I don't think you can open a fanny pack any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a green team wins.
It's almost like you're
pack.
swashbuckling with it.
So that fanny pack was the real winner, and because. Hold on, Natalie. Okay. Listen here, you butthole.
You already got butthole.
Because I messed up and not getting green team wins. Chad from 20th Century was like, "You screwed up. Here's a fanny pack."
You
He's
screwed
like, "I'm
up.
only giving this to you if you wear it." I'm like, "I'll wear it."
I'll wear it. I'll
and
wear it
then
right
I
now.
fucking wore that.
Oh
thing.
yeah, he wore
You
it
did.
from.
I'm all about
you
that
even wore it to
green
sleep.
Challenge
Yes,
accepted.
I'm all about that
bitch.
fanny pack. It'll probably come to Gen Con 2023
Hell yeah.
with
Hell
some
yeah.
sweet
Right.
pins in there. Natalie, go ahead, ding it.
Ding it in,
butthole.
Natalie.
Say the Bill one again. I just want
You ding in.
I think I know it, but I just want
read it
to. I
again.
just say it.
Okay, but just so you know, Jeff could ding in ahead of you.
Okay.
Okay. Bill's 47% success rate means that usually the
Oh shit.
Oh
That doesn't make sense.
my lord! You should get a minus point for the ding in.
You
I feel like I have a good answer, but
You
that doesn't
dinged
go
in.
in that. Like, do you have to finish that sentence with the game?
Yeah.
well, you don't. You can do whatever you
Do whatever
want.
Say
Dang,
it.
I
Go
thought
ahead.
I
Say
had
Cryptid
it.
Urban
This is
Legends.
going to be really.
I
funny.
thought I had
can't
it.
wait
Just
to-
go ahead.
All right.
Just
No,
say
you're
it,
not-
and
no,
then
be
I'll say something
allowed.
wrong. You say it, and then I'll say something wrong. Go ahead. Say something,
do it.
and then I'll say something wrong.
Well, it doesn't make sense
Just-
in that
okay,
sentence.
never mind.
It means that.
I don't know. You dinged in. I feel like I have to hold you to the fire
Fine.
here.
Critical thinking.
No.
Okay.
Critical thinking?
Isn't that the name of that game?
I'll let Natalie be
What's the
back
name of
in
that
this one.
game?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What is it called?
Critical Foundation.
I was like, what the fuck is critical
Cut
thinking?
this part out.
I mean,
Anything from the
that's
ding
something you have to
after,
use when
cut
you
it
ding
out.
in, I think, is
Yeah.
really what that was.
You're out. I'm gonna bring you back in on that one, 'cause
Critical
I feel bad.
thinking. Number 4 for me was the hilarity. And I'm sorry, McDave Mick, but the hilarity of us constantly running into the measles and then taking a
not
picture
him.
and sending it to you, yeah, not you, and saying, "Where are you?" The best part of the whole thing was when we were at Cardhalla and we like, because it was already a thing at this point. We ran into the measles at
Over and over
at
again.
the
Over
Calzone
and
place
over.
a million times in the convention hall. We played games with Patty and JW, which is the whole point. We went there was to play games with Dave and all them, and we never were able to like meet up with them. And then we're at the Cardhalla and we're leaving outside, and who do we see? We see the measles walking out right in front of us. We're like, measles, and he turns around and he starts cracking up, and we're like, we think it's just like, oh, it's funny. He's like, oh my god, we just split up from Dave 30 seconds ago. We went this way,
was really
he went
funny.
that way. Of course, we run into you. He's like, we gotta take a picture again. So took another
Yeah.
picture,
And every
then
time they send it
every
to
time
Dave, and he's
Dave's
just like, God damn it.
So then we saw him the next morning in the hall on Sunday. And
For the first time.
But we saw them
the first time.
We saw them for the first time like an hour before we left.
But we were like planning to try to like meet up. We're like, okay, we're at this area, so we're like all trying to get there. Of course, we only see the measles. We take another picture with the measles, and like turns out Dave was shopping or somewhere else. And then he gets he's shopping. He doesn't know we're all there. He's buying a game, and we take another picture to send to him, and he's in the picture, but doesn't know that we're there yet. And it was, oh my gosh, it was so funny.
It was so
but I'm going
funny.
to roll that into seeing them and just being able to be there with even more friends this year.
Yeah.
So like usually it's only us, and like we'll see people that like we know, like,
but we don't really know personally.
But like we have like Amanda and Wally, and we saw the measles and the McCowns and Ben and Em, and we were there like with all of us. It was like this big awesome group that kind of like stuck together. We split a bunch of times, but it was kind of like that cohesive group that was just kind of like, it was just cool to have everybody there to walk around, see the measles, who we see all the time, like our actual friends, and see them. We got to hang with Amanda and Wally, we got to hang with Ben and Em, we got to hang with everybody. It was just really, really cool.
It was so cool
this year. That's my number 4. Natalie, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the constant measles spottings.
There you go.
I mean,
because they have the measles, so you get spots.
Yeah, it was weird how much we saw them.
It was hilarious.
There was like a bunch of people that we were like constantly trying to meet up with, like, oh, where, like if we'd split up from Ben and Em or Man and Wally, we'd be like, where are you? I'm here, and like I was like, we don't even have to text the measels because we'll just automatically run into them.
It'd probably make the chances that we saw them lower if we texted them.
Right,
we tried
exactly.
to see them.
Yeah, it was just a ridiculous amount of times.
It was
and
really funny.
It was really funny.
Jeff, what is your number 3?
My number 3, I'll kind of piggyback a little bit of just like seeing and meeting people that we have known but it didn't know, right? Never met in person.
Right.
Kind of like, falling into place where it's like, we've talked to Roberto for years, but it felt like being old friends. Same thing with like Justin and Kelly.
Right.
Seeing these
Isn't that
people
so weird? You feel like
for the
you
first
know
time,
them,
like,
even though we
know
never
you.
met
so,
them.
And like Jen and Raleigh being so nice.
Oh, they were great.
Shelly was amazing. Matthias was
Shelley.
awesome. Just like all these people who I'm forgetting, I apologize, but seeing people, taking pictures with them, talking to them, meeting Vaughn and Ray, it was just such a fun time to coordinate, even how far annoying it is, like, where are you? But then it's worth it to meet up with these people.
100%.
And hoping like that next year now we get to see them, and then maybe a couple more people, and then the following year is like our group kind of friends at Gen Con gets bigger, and I really love that.
Yes, agreed. 100% agreed. Number 3 for me, we can finally talk about this, is the play of Order Overload Cafe in our apartment with Jeff, Dave, Natalie, Ben, and Em. This was the funniest fucking thing. There was a moment we were playing. Me, Dave, and Jeff are out immediately
in a row,
and Ben. And then Ben a little bit after us.
Ben might get one.
Natalie and Emily really held it down.
Yeah, they carried us.
And that was the funniest fucking thing in the world. So it was the very first round. There's 6 cards only. The very first round. Dave's the very first person, and he says something wrong.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that he said something wrong. It was that every one of us, when he said that, was like, okay, it's got to be in there. And
so
it wasn't.
Like,
we were
do
like,
you have it? Do you have it?
Nice.
Oh, I guess no. I guess we didn't say that. And the first 6 cards, and we were all like dying, like
great.
what the fuck?
We're like, oh my god, that's not one of them.
And so then after we got past like the 3rd or 4th round. We were like, most of us were out. We made it to the 5th round. Before the 5th round started, Ben like stood up and he's like, all right, what does he say? He's like, I gotta put stuff in my memory palace.
My memory palace.
And so he's like standing up and he's like doing squats, like with his eyes closed, like I gotta get ready. And I'm just like rocking back and forth, like, okay, what are these cards? Jeff's like, we're all like up and doing stuff.
Literally, it was Jeff, Emily, and Ben. We're all standing up, like pacing around or doing something. I'm reading the cards, right? I think it was like 32 cards. I'm reading them. And the 3 of them are just like pacing around, doing stuff like over there. Ryan's next to me, like rubbing his hands across the top of his thighs, just like all like anxious and nervously. And then Dave's over there. Every time I say something, he throws his hands up there, like, I already forgot it. I don't know. You know? And so I'm like sitting there trying to.
We lost.
I'm reading these cards, and every single other person is doing some crazy shit. And it was just the most ridiculous thing.
I wish somebody had taken a video of everybody in that moment. It was the funniest thing. I loved that moment in time, that snapshot in time, playing that game with all of us. I thought it was so much fun, and I just want to get that back. It was so funny how stupid we were. Except Natalie, there was one moment. So in this one round, we had to three of us had to go out, and each of us has 3 cards, and so. All of us were out. Every one of us except Natalie, and nobody had their hands run out. And Natalie clutched it and got
5 or something
5 in a row, and we won that round, and it was so cool.
It was so fun.
That's great. All right, Natalie, what's your number 2?
It was so cool that's my number 2.
It was.
Yeah.
Adorable. Oh my god,
that's great.
That
All right, Jeff, what's your number 2?
my number 2 is we stayed downtown, having an apartment that was close enough to walk.
Yeah,
I think
was
allowed us
awesome.
to be able to be at the hall longer, to do things. Because a lot of times when we stay in the past, we leave, and then we're kind of, once we're out of the downtown area, we're done. But this was cool. We could go back. We could play games. We could go back to the hall on Saturday to kind of see some things.
Could drop off games.
You guys left and dropped off some games. That was very, very cool.
It was very convenient.
So
Very
that
convenient.
whole experience of kind of seeing the nightlife and the insanity of Indianapolis.
Crazy motorcycles.
Indy's got some weird shit going on.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
In downtown Indy.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
So there's some
That
weird
pedal thing.
Oh, someone fell off a
someone
pedal
almost
bike,
died.
pedal
Ooh.
bar. And
That was scary.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Ooh.
But staying downtown, kind of seeing more of the grandiose feel of the convention, I think was very cool, especially the nightlife for how weird it might have been. It was cool to kind of be there and experience that. Stay downtown, number 2.
Absolutely agreed. That was also my number 2, but I will run and pull an audible here and say that I also really enjoyed that the vendor hall was back to normal. Last year, I was disappointed because the vendor hall is basically where we spend the majority of our time at Gen Con.
Yes.
And so last year, I felt like I saw the entirety of the vendor hall by Friday morning. And I was almost kind of like, now what do I do? Shit, now we're here till 6 p.m. I don't have any event tickets, and I was bummed. I was like, shit, what are we going to do? This year, it was back to normal. I left on Sunday with all of us, and I still felt like I didn't see everything. And that's what I love. I felt like I spent all of my time roaming around, figuring stuff out, finding stuff. And there was just so much to see. It was back to normal.
Yep.
And that's my favorite part of Gen Con, is just
feeling.
roaming the vendor hall. And it was great. It was just as great as it always was this year. So that's my number 2. Natalie, we're at number 1.
Number 1. Well, my number 1 is... Jeff kind of already said it, but it's... Sorry, I forgot. I was looking at my notebook, but it's really on my phone. But it's basically... it's basically meeting all the people that we never got to meet before for the first time. Like we said, Ray and Von meeting... Ron
Ron and Ron.
Meeting them was like a highlight of our Friday. Meeting Roberto and Kelly and Shelly and Matthias in person.
Kelly and Shelly and Matthias.
Like all that stuff is just like... It was like thrilling. It was fun. It was exciting. And
it was.
I like that. And I don't know, it was awesome. And on top of that, like you said, it's just like, I guess it's just in general, all the people, like having so many of our friends be there, like our like group that goes is just like growing, and that just like makes the fun like multiply. Yeah.
Totally.
That's my number 1.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what about you, man?
That was definitely the best thing. If I was ordering it, things that I love.
Yeah.
My number 1 was we did an escape room on Thursday, and this was the first time that the Measles, Kevin and Laura, did an escape room. It was the first escape room they ever
That
did.
is so
That's
cool.
a good one to
Dave
start,
booked it
probably.
for us, so this is shout out to Donkey Kong. Booked it for us, and he booked the hardest room at this downtown Indy escape room, which we did a few years ago and love the production quality.
Yeah,
it's an
very
good.
amazing
Yeah, very
facility.
good.
It's above some spaghetti house, I don't know. But it is
Yeah.
like the
you go
production
upstairs, I
is
forgot.
awesome. So Dave booked us the hardest room there, and by hardest it means the least amount of people escape. It's like the lowest percentage of escape. And we got out, we were cruising in this escape room. There are moments, and we've done dozens of escape rooms before, where you feel like you hit a wall, you pause, you ask for a clue. We were fucking humming through this thing. So we got out with like 19 minutes left. In their hardest room, boom, pushed it out, got out. And what was so cool is like, our girl was kind of like, hey, good job, you got out. And we were like, okay, did we do it good? Like,
Yeah, how do we do?
and then somebody came by and they were like, that's the fastest time I've ever seen since I've been working here. They went and like checked the record, and we were like a minute and a half off of like the record, which would have been so cool to do.
That would have been.
But it was just so cool to do that together with the Measles first time. And everybody, I felt like we were going so well that we all contributed, because that's always the best feeling when you get out like, oh, I helped do this puzzle, or I
Right.
saw that happen. And it was just the way that we kind of got out and how we did we basically dominated that, like, the hardest room was very cool. So I always look forward to going to that place because the production of their escape rooms are awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll
Wasn't
definitely
there something
be
with
going back.
like a drink wheel?
Oh yeah, you go in and you can like you pay for it, but like you roll a dice. You roll a die and you get whatever. We just all agreed that we're gonna roll this die,
Drink
this
whatever drink it
20-sided
lands
die,
on.
and
Whatever the
whatever
fuck happens,
drink comes
happens.
out came out. So Dave got some like wine and like cherry soda or
Wine
something.
and
He
beer.
got like some very like a pink drink showed up. I got some random beer that was kind of okay.
Yeah.
So it was just like random. That was kind of fun. And you get to bring the drink into the escape room, which is cool.
And Measles is a chemistry teacher, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was like a little bit of like chemistry in there that he had
Yeah.
to like kind
How
of like
cool is that?
That's
it was pretty cool.
perfect.
Yeah, how cool is
Yeah.
that? That is great. Number one for me, I wrote down meeting Ray and Vaughn.
Yeah, that's kind
And here's
of
what
it.
what I mean about that. It was like, I'm not going to use that even to encapsulate meeting everybody, specifically meeting Ray and Vaughn.
Yeah.
That feeling that it gave us to know that, like, wow, these people like us and they're not friends of ours before. You know, they're not even in the Discord and we talk to and build a community up and then, you know, we eventually meet up with them. They're just two randos, right? Two rando listeners who just like what we do. And we're like, oh, they're going to be here. Great. And the story they told us about how we're the first podcast that they listen to, you know, in their rotation now, it meant more to us, I think, than they maybe even realized. And I don't know if this might make them feel like, oh, geez, maybe you guys are you're just small potatoes if we did this to you. But that feeling that single-handedly made me want to continue doing the show. I was about to fucking quit. No,
Oh my god.
no, but that's the kind of stuff when anything like that happens to us out in the wild, and it's happened very, you know, infrequently, but it happens occasionally when just randos, you know, come in and they're like, hey, I really like what you do.
Yeah.
That was the epitome of that happening, and that's what makes me realize and think like, okay, I this makes me enjoy
Right. It
doing
motivates
this,
us.
and I want to do this even more. So
Yeah.
thank you, Ray and Vaughn, for reaching out and meeting us, and we like you just as much. So that was really awesome. That's my number one.
Agreed. Very cool.
Do you guys want to take one last guess at the
Dice puncher.
at Dice Puncher or Bills?
No, we got butthole. Already.
Okay,
The Bill one?
the Bills one is really funny because you were both talking very heavily about the game that this is. And then Natalie was about to. I'm like, oh, she got it, and she dinged in and didn't say it in the middle of talking about the game. All right, so I'm going to just give it away.
Yeah, just give it away.
Bills 47% success rate means that usually the green team wins.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
because
he
Bills
like
play
green.
plays
That was
green.
green. That was
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And then Dice Puncher is about a game that Natalie and I just played that Natalie fucking hated. It's in the sell pile.
Yeah. Fuck that game.
What was it?
Vengeance, roll, and fight.
Okay, I'm like, you could have dinged in. But
Yeah.
like, Jeff, you can ding in now.
Too bad.
Well,
4-4.
yeah, you basically told it to us.
Yeah, so Vengeance, Roll, and Fight. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. We'll talk about that really, really quickly. Damn, that was my number one game I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
It was,
Big letdown.
well, Natalie hated
Well,
it.
Ryan
So it's
liked
gone.
it.
I- yeah, it's
Okay.
gone.
I did not like
Yeah, I didn't mind
If
it.
you want it, there's a geek list.
Yes,
is-
there's a
This
current.
is
There's
the
a
one
bit on
where
it
there
currently.
was
but-
episode 1 and episode 2, and Ryan really wanted to buy
Oh, yeah,
both
you
of
would've
them,
had
and I was like,
two games
I was like,
for sale.
buy one of them because what
Well,
if
they
you
were
don't like it?
$40.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so after we played it, he was like, I'm glad I listened to you and didn't buy this.
Well, 'cause she was like, we were like halfway through, and she was like, I fucking hate this. I was like, oh, I'm so
Get rid of this
sorry.
dumb game.
And I didn't blame her because you're rolling frantically these dice, and if you're just not rolling the dice that you need, the other because there's a central pool of dice, and so we each start with 4, and you roll some, and then you apply them, and then you take more. And then you roll them and apply them, take more. But there's dice. It's like Escape, where if you roll a certain symbol, you
Yeah.
can't roll it anymore. And so what happened in the first 3 to 4 rounds of the game was I'm rolling great, and I'm taking all the dice out of the
And
pool.
Natalie
And by
has
the end, Natalie has no
Right.
fucking
So
dice.
then Ryan's
and I
got
have
like
them all.
14 dice, and I have like
And I was having a
6 dice,
blast.
and I'm like, well, I
this
can't
is
do anything.
But luckily, on the very last turn of the game, that switched and happened to me. And I was like, so this is what she felt
this-
the entire
so
game.
this is why this
like,
sucked
oh
for Natalie.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awful.
And
it
I
felt
mean,
bad.
if it's a good game, I can look past that after one play and be like, okay, this doesn't happen
But
all the
fuck that
time.
game.
But like the rest of it wasn't that fun for me either.
she's
Even
not
the
wrong.
good times were bad.
She's not wrong. It wasn't what I hoped it would be, and so we're just gonna move it. But so yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody.